different. This is the reality that Arkansas fans are probably frustrated with. They've had 21 one-possession games during his tenure. They've won 5.
Yeah.
And I think Arkansas's fan base isn't necessarily expecting them to go out and routinely beat Alabama or routinely beat LSU or Georgia, somebody that they're outmatched against. But when you do get into a one-possession game, you have that opportunity on the road versus Ole Miss. You have that opportunity against the BYU. Or maybe there's some middle-of-the-road teams in the SEC. You have to win those games. If you get into a one-possession game, you have to win those. And they have not. And the offense, with a lot of experience, particularly at quarterback, and when Rocket Sanders is healthy at running back, has regressed. They have not gotten better.
Okay, I want your 60-second thought on this. I don't know if anybody noticed, Georgia coming off a bye week against what it virtually is 26th ranked Florida. Then their schedule is number 16 Missouri, number 12 Ole Miss down the stretch, number 21 Tennessee on the road down the stretch, and potentially number 9 Alabama in the SEC championship game. Georgia's schedule all of a sudden has gotten hard, Lugs.
Wait a minute. I thought it was the easiest schedule in America. What are we talking about?
It's gotten hard.
Listen, well, it's gotten hard, and obviously we know about the loss of Brock Bowers, and I think this is going to tell you an awful lot about Carson Beck. I thought there was some real positives from the Kentucky game. I still go back to that game with Ra Thomas and Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint, and the fact that they found other options, and Carson Beck was willing to target those other options and come up with other plays and ways to make plays. Listen, regardless of what the ranking is of the other team, Georgia will be the best team on the field in each one of those games. Doesn't mean they're going to win. I'm not saying that. But when you have the best team going in, you have a chance to win if you don't screw it up.
Oh, man, we've got some good football left, and we'll be here every Monday to talk about it. He's Tom Luginbill of ESPN. I'm Jim Dunaway. Thanks for being with us on Monday Morning Live, brought to you by our friends at mybookie.ag.
Want more of The Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app. The Next Round Golf Court is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call. LT takes off the gloves for an in-depth conversation with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmond Vodka. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, here we go. Is this the third Monday or the fourth Monday in October? Doesn't matter. It's coming off the third Saturday.
Monday.
Coming off the third Saturday of October. A lot to get to. Later in the show, we'll get into just how close of a snow globe Saturday we came to just shaking up the entire national championship picture.
Fourth,
close.
by the way. Sorry.
Close. Fourth Monday. Yep. Thank you, LT. My point is, it's the Monday after the third Saturday in October where Alabama gets a big win. We'll jump into that as we get going today. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Rockstar, Forrester, Tyler, Lunsford, and, of course, Taylor Korn handling everything social media. Thumbs up, like, and subscribe everywhere you're watching us, including on YouTube at Next Round Live there. Thanks for being with us. And what a second half for Alabama, where the Tide down 20-7 at the half, and they shut out Tennessee and Josh Heupel 27-0 in the second half. And, boy, the excitement from the players you saw on Emily Grace McWhorter, our number 13 EG, who our Next Round reporter was on the scene showing you the players smoking the cigars on the field, the fans who stayed in the stadium, the excitement in the postgame. She had all that covered on our platforms there for you. It was a loud, emotional comeback win for this Alabama football team.
Well, I know on the field it was a tale of two halves. I guess in the stadium it was, because I was there for the first half. I thought the atmosphere was kind of And then talking to our friend Jimmy Anthony and his wife Shelly last night, who go to almost every home game. We were emceeing an event last night. He said that was one of the best atmospheres in the second half he's ever been around.
Well, so much so that Nick Saban did a victory lap afterwards, which you don't normally see him do that, and thanked all the, waved and thanked all the fans, brought it up himself after, or I think he was asked about it actually, and mentioned it afterwards in the post game. It's so hard to tell on TV. You don't ever know.
That's right.
I've watched TV games that I thought were dead, and people say electric and vice versa. So I really could not gauge it from TV.
Well, if I'm trying to gauge what happened, I would assume that obviously this game does mean more for Alabama fans, especially coming off a loss last year to Tennessee. They also know their college football playoff hopes. There's no room for error now.
That's right.
You got to be able to win out. And how much longer is Nick Saban going to be doing this? You combine all that stuff, and that's like a panicky 30 minutes of football where you play incredible football and outscore them 27-0.
Yeah, I think the mindset in the stadium at halftime was you're about to lose. You're going to lose. And then to come back and win the game the way they dominated, it was very exciting. You will never find maybe you can go look through the history of college football and find a turnaround like Alabama did. 17 penalties last year in Knoxville. 1 penalty Saturday in Tuscaloosa.
I've heard that.
Thought the game was brilliantly officiated. They let them play. There was only 9 penalties called the entire game.
Right.
They let them play. 8 of them were against Tennessee, which led to this moment post-game. Here's Josh Heupel getting asked a question over in the visiting side of Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Did you feel like that it was a bit one-sided?
Next question. Yeah. Was that long enough silence?
We get paid enough as SEC coaches that if you think something, say it.
Well, that's twice for him this year.
Say it.
He would have been fined twice because he did the same thing after the Florida game. Had a legitimate complaint, I thought, after the Florida game, the way they stopped that play that one time. And that was his complaint in that one. I think this was just overall officiating. It's just, and listen, I can't point fingers because I was doing it last night during the Dolphins-Eagles games. It's frustrating as a fan when you watch your team get a bunch of penalties and the other team get no penalties because you can't believe that they're not committing penalties. Every team commits penalties. Alabama fans had this exact same gripe about this game last year. Tennessee fans have it this year. And I don't know what to say to you except that this is not going away in football. There's going to be games where it's not balanced officiating. I don't know why. I don't know why that's the case.
Well, look, that's not necessarily what lost in the game, and that's a bad look for Heupel, and I like Heupel. Talking to a Tennessee fan last night that was at that event, He's like, boy, he makes some boneheaded in-game decisions.
Yeah. The question you guys brought up in our postgame on Saturday, which is always available for you, was did he change his play calling in the second half, trying to nurse a 20-7 lead, or did Alabama just change the way they played them in the second half? And I pointed to the fact that Amos being in the game because Arnold gets the concussion. I thought he played great, taking Squirrel out of the game at that point. I mean, Squirrel couldn't get open in the second half. In the first half, he had over 100 yards receiving. I think he had 6 yards in the second half receiving. It was an unbelievable effort from that Alabama defense. The front four started to get pressure on Milton, forcing him to throw his throws earlier or not throw at all. It just a lot of things started working. Jahad Campbell had an unbelievable game in place of an injured linebacker.
He did. But ultimately, you can't settle. You can't get in the red zone twice and settle for 3 both times on the road and win in the Southeastern Conference. That's going to be hard to do.
Especially against Alabama.
Yeah.
First half for Tennessee is
That's
what you're
right.
saying.
Yeah.
They missed some opportunities to put them in a bigger hole.
And whether Heupel changed in the second half or not, I don't know. It did seem like he got much more conservative the longer that game went. And, there's already criticism for his play calling inside the red zone. I don't know, Lance. I don't know if you put it on Alabama's defense. I don't know if you put it on Heupel. It's probably a combination of both, to be honest. But Alabama's defense was the reason they won that game in the second half. Now, I know Milroe played a lot better. I get it. But if Alabama's defense doesn't lock Tennessee down in the second half, Milroe could have played better and you still lose the football game.
That's exactly right. I will tell you this, though. If I am a head football coach in a major program right now, on this Monday, I grab a lighter, some lighter fluid, and I walk down to whoever holds the analytics book. And I say, can I have that for a second? And I walk it over to the trash can, and I throw it in there, and I squirt the lighter fluid on it, and I throw the match on it. Because the way Alabama's offense is this year, to go for it and not make it twice and give Alabama short fields, I would not give Alabama's offense a short field at all ever this year because at times it's hard for them to progress down the field.
James Franklin did it, in the second half against Ohio State.
Yes.
Major mistake, and I agree with you. The analytics are killing a lot of these coaches. You get paid, in my opinion, the big dollars because you know how to coach. And every game is different. All these situations, you put these analytics together, this is over – the sample size is gigantic on these analytics. You're in a one-game situation where gut feel comes into play.
Yeah,
and it's like gut feel is out the window now.
Right, and that's what I've always said about analytics. It may tell me that 82% of the time this is the right call. Well, does it take into account that I'm playing an offense that is struggling to get things going, right?
That's
right. There are factors in a game that will change your decision-making just in that singular game that aren't included in your data sample.
That's right.
And that's why I don't understand coaches like Lane Kiffin and people like that are so analytics driven. I think it's great for it to be part of your decision making, but it can't be the entirety of your decision.
Yeah, if I'm going to see Elf at the Alabama Theater, probably bad analogy.
I'm with you though. Let's see where this goes.
And I'm walking down Second, and I'm trying to get to the Alabama Theater, and I can take this alley that's going to get me there quicker. Well, 82% of the time I can take that alley, I feel fine. But if I look down that alley and it just doesn't feel right that night, I'm probably going to take the extra 5 minutes to keep walking.
Or there's an ambulance blocking the alley. The analytics didn't account for the fact that an ambulance might be blocking the alley that one time out of a million.
Or there's a dude in a ski mask in that alley.
That's right, yeah. Analytics didn't take that. So I'm fine with it helping your decision making. That's great, but I don't know that you can be sold on it like 100% of the time.
Elko, Dillingham, and Heupel, and we'll get to Elko and Dillingham a little bit later on, all made fourth down decisions that you ask yourself, okay, why not take the points there? Why not take the points there? For Heupel, why not punt the ball there? It's and go back to Dan Lanning the week before. There are some questionable ones. Unless you're Hugh Freeze, you're going for it early in the game. You're trying to just create anything. I understand, when you're trying to pull a major upset and you're Auburn up against the wall, they are. Off and running. We want your comments. We'll get to all those coming up in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room. As we always do, we will get of course, to the best and worst of the weekend coming up in the next segment. Part of the show being brought to you by our friends at Wayne's, celebrating 50 years with our friends at Wayne's Pest Control. They've been serving our community, your community, my community now for 50 years, doing the thing that they love. That's providing world-class pest control and termite protection to those they care about the most. That's you, the customer who has been with them for 50 years. Thank you so much from our friends at Wayne's. They want to give you $50 off your pest control or your termite protections. That's not just for new customers. It's for existing customers as well. Go to callwaynes.com, callwaynes.com, $50 off pest, $50 off termite protection. Sign up for that lawn care service, too. It's perfect this time of year, so you got a great green yard next year when winter is done and the spring rolls around. Get a lot of nutrients in the ground this time of year. Check it out, callwaynes.com, callwaynes.com. So Alabama wins. They're up to number 9 in the new AP poll, and they get a bye week. The enjoyment after that game from Nick Saban was obvious, even in the interview with Jenny Dale, where she hands him a cigar and he takes it, puts it in his mouth briefly. Good picture there. Rockstar, give me cut number 1, if you will. Nick Saban in postgame just talks about the joy he has of coaching this football team. Here's Alabama's Nick Saban.
Coach, this team continues to find ways to win and battle back from adversity. What has it been like for you as a coach to kind of watch them go through this journey week to week?
Oh, I love it. You know, it's been great. The challenges are great. I enjoy coaching this team. That's not to say that they're taking years off of my life, but I'm okay with that. It's fun because they've got a good spirit about them. We've got good relationships on our team. I think the players legitimately care about each other. And, they respond well to their coaches. So it's really fun to coach them. I don't think we sometimes show the maturity from a competitive standpoint to do everything on a consistent basis, which is what we keep trying to work toward. But I'll tell you, eight weeks in a row, and the grind that we've had the last 4 or 5 weeks, with the games in our league, I think psychologically we probably had a little bit of a tired team, out there at the beginning of the game. And I think the momentum of the game gave them the energy they needed to play the way they could. They were capable of playing.
Nick Saban after that, and for them a bye week and then a showdown which looks like it could be for the SEC West. Ole Miss after the win over Auburn is still very much in the race, but Alabama's already got the win over them. So if Alabama beats LSU, they're in the driver's seat for Atlanta. Bye week, then the prep for the LSU week. That guy will be 72 years old in 8 days. His birthday's coming up. Still coaching his ass off.
It feels different, though. It just does for whatever reason. You go back to College Station and the 26-20 win. We're seeing a lot of videos of Terry Saban and how excited she was around the players. And then you see Nick Saban doing a victory lap, which you never see. And I'm not saying, like I said before the season, I've just got a feeling this is his last season. It just seems like every one of these games means so much. And I know they have in the past, but it feels different.
But to his point about taking years off of life, Alabama is a tightrope act right now. It's like there were a lot of times like the Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts days where there was no drama in the second half at all. There were few times with Bryce Young as the quarterback, and I'm not pinning this on Milroe, I'm just giving you the eras, right? When Bryce Young was the quarterback, occasionally there was some second half drama. Most of the time they were in control. It's second half drama every week now.
Yeah.
Every single week. I mean, it is a tightrope act for Alabama football every single week now.
Because they haven't played 60 minutes. There's a bad half and a good half.
And it's wild. Like the good halves, Alabama's the best team in the country. Then the good halves. In Alabama's good halves, wherever they are, they're the best team in the country. And in their bad halves, they're like a mid-tier team in the country. It's the wildest thing. It really is. Like, you give me that second half Alabama team, who you bring into Bryant-Denny, if they played that way for 60 minutes, who do you confidently feel like you could bring to Bryant-Denny and that team couldn't beat?
Yeah. Michigan, Alabama, that would be it.
Michigan and Georgia. Yeah, Michigan and Georgia.
Maybe Georgia.
I mean, those would be the two I'd look at and say, the way that team played, if you gave me 60 minutes the second half Alabama Saturday, I don't know who beats them. Yeah, but you don't get it for 60 minutes.
The problem is you probably have the best player in college football coming in 2 weeks.
That's right. Can Alabama, their defense, control him enough, and can they score enough points to make that happen. LSU beats Army 62-0 over the weekend. Now they're into a bye weekend. An observation after you tell us about Moore's Marinade that I don't know if anyone has. I know some smartest audience in the world. Some of you have noticed this already, but tell us about Moore's.
I've got an observation I got to make later too, and Rockstar's got to help me on. I meant to give him a heads up. An observation: I use Moore's Marinade for a new ribeye recipe. Now this is not a complicated recipe, but I've got some video. I'll send it out. But I saw it on TikTok. I know you're stunned at that. And I used it with Moore's Marinade over the weekend. Just Moore's Marinade, a little Montreal seasoning on some ribeyes. It's a great ribeye recipe. My wife loved it, man. We had date night, steak night, Friday night. You can do the same thing with Moore's Marinade and be a hero in that backyard this football season. Put Moore's Marinade on absolutely everything, that delicious hickory flavor with lower sodium, and it matches perfectly with burgers, chicken, steak, pork, even veggies. Moore's buffalo wing sauce and that honey barbecue wing sauce also has the perfectly tangy flavor that will keep you licking your fingers even after the wings are gone. Dip it, drizzle it, slather Moore's buffalo wing sauce on everything you eat, from chicken fingers to burgers, sandwiches, pizza, pasta, tacos, fries, and more. See why everybody that loves grilling loves Moore's Marinade and wing sauces. You can do that online, mooresmarinades.com. That is mooresmarinades.com. Get recipe ideas and grilling inspiration right there at mooresmarinades.com.
Here's my observation. I got a team that, using the AP poll, their next 4 games is against the number 26 team, the number 16 team, the number 12 team, the number 21 team, then an easy rivalry game, and then possibly the number 9 team in the country. That team, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, the team that's not playing anybody?
Can you believe how tough Georgia's schedule has gotten all of a sudden without their best player now down the stretch? 26, just outside top other receiving votes, Florida this week after a bye. Then on at home to 16 Missouri, number 12 Ole Miss, on the road at 21 Tennessee, then Georgia Tech, possibly then number 9 Alabama.
Look, this is a season where it shows anyone can lose. I mean, they should have been bloody Saturday with some of the almost upsets, and we did get a couple of big upsets. But I still look at the schedule without Brock Bowers. It is more difficult. But do you guys really believe Florida, Missouri, Ole Miss, or Tennessee is going to beat this team?
Actually, I think Georgia drops one of these, yeah. I'm and don't ask me which one, I don't know, but I do think Georgia loses one of these games. I just think, Lance,
I've said this. Look, I mean, it's almost impossible to go 3 consecutive years.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah. I mean, just 3 consecutive years of undefeated football just doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen for a reason. A lot of good teams have tried it, and they don't succeed. And one of those reasons is injuries. You just can't go 3 years without having key injuries. And Brock Bowers is a key injury. Now, their offense will be fine without him. I'm not saying their offense is going to shut down, but Brock Bowers was the difference in the Auburn-Georgia game, right? The absolute difference in that game. I mean, they could lose that game without Brock Bowers.
Yes.
And Auburn is not a good football team. So, I mean, there will be another game I think they're in that without Brock Bowers, it becomes an issue. So, yeah, I think they'll lose one of those games.
Well, this is the good news for Georgia fans is I think Georgia's attention, this gets it.
Right. I would kind of agree with you on that. But, and everybody points at Tennessee, and I'll just say most of the time in college football, the upset comes where you least expect it. And I don't know that means Missouri, Ole Miss, whatever, but the upset normally comes where you least expect it. It's not the one in college football where you circle it and say, oh, it's that one right there. At Tennessee, they got to go to Tennessee without Brock Bowers. It would, to me, be far more likely that it's Ole Miss or Missouri or somebody like that.
Yeah, 2 dangerous teams, good quarterbacks playing at a high level right now. So some juice left in the SEC, maybe starting at the cocktail party. That'd be the one I would least expect, the Florida team, to get them this week in the cocktail party, 2:30 on CBS. Cano Aguirre just sent this amazing fact out that I had not noticed. Since Tennessee was ranked number 1 in the first college football playoff poll last year, they have played 5 true road games since then. They're 1-4, with their only win being at Vanderbilt. All 4 of those true road losses double digits, allowing more than 30 points a game.
I mean, I think Georgia and Alabama have made us forget how hard it is to go on the road and win in this conference.
In this SEC,
Georgia and Alabama over the last decade have done it pretty consistently. It's really hard to do, and that's why I said what I said earlier. When you're on the road in the SEC and you settle for field goals in the red zone, that'll get you beat. You got to be an exceptionally good team to do that. Exceptionally good. Like to what Alabama and Georgia have been over the last decade to survive that.
Hey, will you check a number at mybookie.ag real quick?
For this weekend
For
coming
this
up, Lance?
weekend, yeah, because I glossed over everything yesterday, and about half the numbers were out. And again, I looked this morning, and the one that really jumped out to me is Vanderbilt has lost 6 consecutive games. Now they go Vaughn Hemingway to take on Ole Miss, and I saw that number at Ole Miss 6.5, and it had to have been missing a 1. It's got to be 16.5.
Yeah, you sure it wasn't like a preseason line that they float those out a lot on Sundays until the real ones come?
I'm looking for who? Say that again.
Vandy and Ole Miss.
What time is that, Jim?
That is a 6:30.
6:30 SEC Network.
The
Tom Hart.
30.
It's got to be 16.5.
20. I see it at 25.5.
Well, maybe it was 26.5.
Yeah.
But yeah, 6.5. I was like,
No. Ole Miss is favored 25.5 at that one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, best and worst of the weekend coming up. Get your comments in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room. They are part of the show being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness. Way to Wellness, they want to jumpstart your loss. Maybe this is the time of year with Halloween coming up. You binge on this candy. You've been hitting the cocktails a little bit during football season, starting to put on a few pounds. Jumpstart that weight loss with our friends at Way to Wellness. Leslie and her board-certified team can walk you through the process. But just do this. Start by just going to the website, aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com. That takes you to Way to Wellness. You'll find out there's no contracts. There's no sign-up fees. And your first consultation's free. No out-of-pocket money right there. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Again, that website, aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com. It helps you with your blood pressure and your cholesterol as well. Way to Wellness. Great folks there. When we come back, we'll do best and worst of the weekend, a lot more right here on the next round.
Unlocked with Fox Sports' Brock Heward and Lance Taylor weekly at Disrupt the Media on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
The Next Round golf cart is back and is presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Cart for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Rockstar, give me cut number 4, because I want to back up what Brown was saying here, and a guy who respects the fact of what Brown was saying about how tough it is to win on the road in the Southeastern Conference. It's our Dr. B sound of the day from Lane Kiffin after they go to Jordan-Hare and they beat Auburn 28-21. Here is the Ole Miss head coach.
I'm just really pleased with our players, happy for our fans. I don't care what records are going into it. This place at night is a hard place to play, and look at percentages. A lot of people losing here. So for our guys to kind of take over in the second half and really the last play of the third quarter and the fourth quarter is awesome. We talked all week about this season. We've been a really good fourth quarter team and second half team, and so but we had to do it again, and so that was good to see. I thought our defense really, the last drive, obviously was bad in the one run, but besides that, I think we got 5 first downs in the whole game. So that's really impressive defense to play on the road. We said all week, you got to pack your run game, pack your defense to come in here and win, and we did that. The players did that today.
That defense, by the way, held Auburn before the final drive to 45 passing yards and 2 interceptions, and then the final drive for a touchdown changed those numbers a little bit. That sound from the Ole Miss win brought to you by Dr. B.
Hey, get preemptive if you've been starting to thin up a little bit up top. It happened to me when we started this venture. I asked around. Dr. Beckenstein is the name everyone mentioned. Got to go see this guy. Since I went to see Dr. B, my hair has more than doubled in thickness. Make the phone call that I made. Set up that consultation, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316, and tell him the next round sent you.
A couple things. First of all, Tyler Booker, normally in this segment, he had an appointment was previously scheduled that he alerted us of last week, so he'll be with us tomorrow. So Tyler Booker, smoking a cigar. I think he told us last week he never smoked one. He changed that Saturday night. We'll ask him about that tomorrow.
Looks like he's doing a hell of a job, too.
Yeah,
is he blowing rings?
That thing smokes fine, don't it?
I don't think you go from not ever smoking a cigar to blowing rings. That's sort of a professional move.
YouTube's probably got a tutorial on it.
I mean, that's a professional move. I'll just ask you, Brown. The last time he missed a show, he also missed the upcoming game. We don't know why he's missing the show, right?
Well, I guarantee you he will not play Saturday.
That's right. This is a bye week.
That's right. So I don't know. He's got an appointment that was, again, he had alerted us of this before. It's nothing. I don't think I'd get too alarmed about it with Tyler Booker. So he'll be with us tomorrow at 11.
Okay.
The second thing is, I don't know how Auburn was in that game. I really don't. I mean, their offense is so atrociously bad. Like, when that game was still in doubt, like before Ole Miss had put it away and Auburn had to get some garbage yard there late, Auburn had picked up 5 first downs. Do you know how hard it is to play basically 2.5 quarters of football and get 5 first downs? That's really, really hard to do. I mean, you only got to get 10 yards.
Yeah, I mean, their defense kept them in. I mean, Ole Miss had more rushing yards than they had total yards. More rushing yards last year than they had total yards in this game this year. And they were only 2 of 11 on third down. So Auburn's defense was able to keep them somewhat close. Well, I got scalded. I had Rivaldo Fairweather over 31.5 yards. He hits on 31, and they don't start using him. I didn't realize that Ashford was going to be starting the game. I put that bet in a little earlier, and then I saw Ashford out there. I was like, oh, damn.
Well, he did start, but they rotated even on the first drive.
But when Ashford's in there, they're not throwing the football.
Yeah. Little T does not I don't think she's a fan, if I can get, of the rotating of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
But I don't know.
Just stick with one bad one.
But that's true. I mean, they're really. Who is the one bad one?
I mean, they're both bad, but just pick your bad one and go with it.
Yeah, I mean, and drive to drive is one thing, but they're doing it in drive.
Yeah,
and then sometimes it's kind of weird. Like there was, I think it was a 3rd and 3. And you bring in Peyton Thorne on 3rd and 3, and the offense jumps, or there's a delay of game. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's 3rd and 8, and you swap back to Ashford. And I'm like,
I almost think
that feels kind of like a weird move there.
You're saying backwards because 3rd and 3 feels like a run, and 3rd and 8 feels like a pass.
Yeah, 3rd and 8, I feel like I better have my passing quarterback.
I think this is almost the before and after pictures. And hear me out on this. So in here, when we took the before pictures, we had like an old, what was that like? It wasn't some kind of casing or
it was an old shelf cabinet.
Cabinet. Yeah, but I mean, it looked awful in here, and we knew that we had a pretty good vision that was going to look pretty awesome in here. So it's almost Hugh's like showing the fan base, this is what I've got to work with. These are the before pictures, and I'm going to make you see these quarterbacks every drive.
So you see the after.
So you're telling me Hugh is showing us the 320-pound version of the world's biggest loser?
You can kind of tell when Hugh's talking that he's been frustrated.
And next year he's going to have his new quarterback. He's going to have those old pants.
Yeah.
He's stretching out.
And let me say this clear for Lincoln Riley. You don't get to make excuses in year 2. You just don't. You're getting paid a lot of money. There's an expectation with your team, and there should be, especially with the brand team. Hugh Freeze will have expectations even with Texas and Oklahoma entering this league next year. If I'm an Auburn fan, I expect to win 10 games next year.
Yeah. I see what you're saying about Auburn and USC, who lost again, now a 2-loss team. Caleb Williams, 0 touchdown passes in that game. Best and worst of the weekend is brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Brown's going to get to your best and worst in the chat room, but also all of your comments in the chat room the rest of this segment. Tell us about Hemp Hill.
Yeah, $69 fall tune-up right now when you call the month of October. You got another week plus, so call 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train. This is the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Plumbing, heating, cooling. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
All right, in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room, Michael says Proctor deserves some credit in this game. He improved some.
He did.
Some is limited, but he did improve some.
There was not the same swinging door. I mean, going into the game, though, all you heard was how good Tennessee's pass rush was, top 5 in the country in sacks coming in, and they still got to Milrose some. I don't know what the final sack number was. They
4.
lit him up one time.
Yep.
So 4 sacks, they hit their average.
Yeah,
they
but
hit their average.
Pierce had 2 tackles and a sack. And if I had told you coming in, and I thought J.C. Latham did a really good job on Pierce.
Yep.
That guy had been wreaking havoc. And if I tell you coming in, Pierce has 2 tackles and a sack, you take that one.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
That's all he had. Now, they had 4 total sacks, which is more than you want to give up.
That's about on par, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Alabama's defense had 3 sacks.
Yeah.
So.
But it hit the averages on both. I mean, Alabama was averaging giving up 4 or 5 a game, and Tennessee was averaging getting 4 a game. So it hit on the averages. He had a little bit more time in the second half. Some of those deep throws, that one to Isaiah Bond that scored a touchdown on the second play of the second half, he had all day to let that develop. So, yeah, they are not great at protecting all the time, but sometimes they're just good enough to let Milroe throw one deep. What else you got, Brownie?
Brooks, best. Alabama in the second half. Worst has to be USC. Lance touched on it. We can
let's jump into that.
Give you a little more space here, Lance. That was a disappointing loss.
It was a really disappointing loss. And, look, I mean, here's the thing. Utah's just got their number. Utah now has 4 consecutive wins. Yeah, 4 consecutive wins over the Trojans. And, boy, the way that thing played out, when you've got, and Kyle Whittingham said it after the game, and I was talking to our buddy Rick Neuheisel at the event last night. I said, honestly, I would rather have Whittingham as a head coach than a guy like Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
You're going to get more balance. That team was completely depleted. They roll into the Coliseum, and they win with, in his own words, a pig farmer.
Yeah,
we had a pig farmer against the Heisman Trophy winner.
Give me that cut, Rockstar, cut number 8, please. Because you got to hear Whittingham say it if you missed it. Caleb Williams, who is fantastic. But I heard an alarming stat, Brown. There's no way for you to pull it up, and I'm not going to remember the stat.
Well, I gave you a stat against top 25 defenses.
Okay, you did already?
Yeah, that was last week. I gave that to you.
So
I don't know the Utah. Is Utah top 25 defense?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, well, there you go.
There's another one. So you brought it up to me last week. So it's you who told me. So repeat it for everybody who may not attribute to you like I was about to or forgot it.
So against, I'm not going to give you the whole thing because there are a lot of numbers in there, but against top 25 defenses in his career, and of course now I can't find it, he's, I think, going into that game was 6 touchdowns, 6 picks.
Yeah. And I think he's completing like 50% of his passes.
Yeah, it is not good. Now, he had only played 5 top 25 defenses,
right.
and 3 of those were at Oklahoma. He had only played 2 in his whole time at USC. But his performance Saturday night was what he normally does against top 25 defenses.
Well, I didn't think he was bad Saturday. He wasn't electric. But when you play a defense like Utah, you kind of expect that. I'm just, USC cannot be giving up for 34 points to a third string. Well, Jackson did play. Second string running back, third string quarterback, third string tight end.
Yeah. Kyle Whittingham, who's now 3-0 against Lincoln Riley and 4 straight against USC, had this to say about his quarterback, Bryson Barnes, after the win where Barnes got it done at the end.
You got a Heisman Trophy winner quarterback, and so they're going to make some things, and that's just the way it is. But we got ourselves a pig farmer at quarterback, so we're proud of that guy too.
Boy, he sounds like one too. When they interviewed him after the game, and he's a Utah kid, so you don't expect it, and they're like, it's a huge. Well, I was just out here playing in the Coliseum, and I was like, oh,
yeah. A little background on that. His dad is he grew up on a pig farm. His dad is a pig farmer. I didn't really realize that. I've seen the kid play. He was in the Rose Bowl last year when Cam Rising went out with an injury that apparently will keep him out until 2024. But Ian Fitzsimmons brought this up on the original roundtable last week and told me, hey, this guy is a pig farmer, former walk-on. You got a walk-on against a dude that is making millions of dollars that wants equity in an NFL team. Just kind of fed up with USC right now.
Yeah, I can tell. And there were rumors breaking out from the Dan Patrick Show this weekend from a guy that covers the NFL or covers USC, not the NFL, that Lincoln Riley is spent in LA already and wants to go to the NFL. Would you be okay with that right now?
If he's spent already, yeah. And after the game, you guys tell me this. You cannot say, hey, expectations. The expectations are what got us. You're going to have expectations in year two with that brand.
Oh, just with that brand, period. You take a job like USC, Ohio State, Alabama, still Notre Dame. There are certain programs, Texas. I know Texas doesn't do it a lot, but people are going to expect you to win there. You don't take the USC job and quit after 2 years because you're tired of the expectations. That would be BS.
Well, and
if I was USC, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, and look, it's a private institution, so we don't know exactly what he's making. We hear $10+ million. Yeah. And when you go 11-1 in the regular season last year, and you have a 17-point lead in the Big Pac-12 championship last year against Utah in a game where if you win, you're in the college football playoff. And then year two, you go out and you raid the portal again, and the defense is supposed to be that much better, and you've lost back-to-back games with, by the way, they've got a better chance of 7-5 than 10-2.
Oh, they do. And, hey, here's a point, because next year they're in the Big Ten. The two most Big Ten teams they've played this year, Notre Dame and Utah.
And what happened?
And they lost both of those
games. They got pushed around.
They're pushed around. They're not physical on defense. And your defense, that's the thing. Like, your offense did not play well in 2 straight games now, but your defense played okay against Notre Dame. Your defense can't go back out on the field once you've finally gotten that lead and just let a pig farmer drive it right down for a short field goal.
And by the way, we know what they were going to do. They were going to run the football.
Exactly.
And they went out and they ran for 247. And the second down play where he went for 23 yards to put him in field goal range, game was over.
Yeah, and
they came after the Bear Alexander targeting, roughing the passer play, where he face masked him. I don't know if it was targeting or not, but it was roughing the passer for sure.
And you got, I'll tell you what else Whittingham did, and it pissed Lincoln Riley off, but it's on Lincoln Riley, is every time USC would substitute, Whittingham would take forever to match subs.
That's
and
right.
He would send a fat guy in and tell him, you run as slow as you can. That's on Lincoln, man.
Yeah,
you got it. You either don't sub or you get your subs in quick.
Yeah, I think, didn't Tennessee do that to Alabama this past weekend?
Yeah, and it's on Alabama.
Yeah. Late substitution.
That's right. If you're going to sub late.
If you're coached late, that's what you do. Now, I do feel like at some point we need to address that you are doing it with some urgency. But
like, in other words, how long the defense gets to do it.
That's right.
Because the defenses are taking advantage of this.
That's right.
But you don't have to sub.
But with the rules as it is right now, they were coached up to do this.
They have figured out a game the system.
The guy trotted out, and nobody started trotting off until he got all the way to them. And it's like, oh, me?
Yep.
And then he trotted off slowly, and they held the ball the entire time. And I agree with Lunsford. At some point, it's not a rule yet, so they can't do it mid-season. But it needs to be like an 8-second substitution rule or something like that.
Well, the coaches drive that kind of thing. So if enough coaches get pissed about this, there will be a rule.
You know, on paper, this is their most winnable game left when they go to Berkeley to take on Cal.
But, boy, that's a
tricky
game.
I've seen Cal in spots really rise up and play pretty good football. So, I mean, I'm not going to be shocked if Cal was to win this game.
So much more to get to with USC now arguably out of the college football playoff hunt. We'll see what else they can do. Show being brought to you in part by our friends at Simpio. Still one more thing to talk about in this segment.
Again, the first phone call we made here when we started up the next round was to Blake Patterson and the guys at Simpio. And one of the main reasons is we had no idea about the 4 pillars in every single office. These are the things that Simpio is going to take care of. all that BS, the compliance, HR, payroll, benefits. When your company joins Sympio, you gain access to healthcare and employer benefits at prices only large organizations get. You can join Sympio any time of year. With that being said, there is no annual contract, 99% retention rate. Call them today, 205-635-7467 or Sympio.com.
Caleb Williams, 0 touchdown passes and a loss. Drake May completed 50% of his passes with a loss to one of the worst Power 5 teams, Virginia. Michael Penix, no offensive touchdowns against Arizona State. The question came from Ruffum over there, is Jaden Daniels your leading Heisman candidate? If he ain't, he should be.
You know, a couple weeks ago, Dylan Gabriel shot up the board sitting on the couch on his bye week because everybody other than Penix had a bad day. Caleb Williams had a bad day at Notre Dame. Everybody else fell off. And I feel like he wasn't sitting on his couch, but he was playing Army, which is as close to sitting on your couch as you're going to get in college football. Jaden Daniels had a good day in Heisman terms.
If he plays well and they beat Alabama, he'll definitely be in New York and will likely win the thing.
Well, he's been on my ballot for the last month. I think he's, arguably the best player in all of college football.
And you still vote, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has single-handedly carried LSU up until this point. I know they've got 2 losses. You could say what you want week 1 against Florida State. He was not good in that second half. You can't say anything about Ole Miss. That was not on him. They scored 49 points. That's going to be his opportunity to win a Heisman Trophy in Tuscaloosa in 2 weeks.
Yep. I think he and Jordan Travis probably had the best Heisman Day Saturday just by going out and playing a normal game because everybody else around them is starting to fall off a little bit.
31-29, Dylan Gabriel's team wins, survives in a home game against UCF. But that's the Heisman conversation. We'll get back to the games on the field. As LT pointed to, very close to being a snow globe Saturday as Oklahoma, Florida State, Texas, and Washington were all scared, and North Carolina got upset. We'll get into those, and we'll talk to Joel Klatt coming up at 10:25. Show today being brought to you by the great folks, Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios here. Our friends at Bud Light. This week we're out at Odie's Homewood for our Bud Light game night on Thursday. If you haven't been to one this year, come on out Thursday night. Odie's in Homewood, new location there. Scan that QR code and get the opportunity there to jump in and maybe win tickets to the Alabama-Auburn game at the end of the year. You know it's going to be exciting because every Alabama game is this year, and you know it will be at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Thursday night, Odie's in Homewood for Bud Light game night. Back in a moment.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Going to a big football game? Walking around all day? Then you'll want comfortable shoes. This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. Score a touchdown with a new pair of ultra-comfortable running or walking shoes. Come to the New Balance Birmingham store. I'm telling you, we'll make sure you have a perfect fit and we'll treat you like the starting QB. Our job is to make sure your feet are happy. Visit the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A. Your feet will thank you.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour. 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
Hey, the holiday season is upon us here. If you don't think so, just I typed a sad thing on the schedule sheet that I send out every week. Week 9 already on this. It goes quickly, and it also means the holidays coming up quickly too. Our friends at Legacy Credit Union has legacy credit cards available for you. Just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. You see, credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to debit cards, which are linked directly to your bank account, and as many of us can tell you, can be a whole host of problems if that gets hacked into. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.90% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Wow. Look no further than Legacy and open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. legacycreditunion.com/join. APR is the annual percentage rate. Rates and offers subject to change. See the website for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. More best and worst of the weekend and comments from the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room.
LT's neighbors best is Deontay Lawson and Jihad Campbell, the best inside linebacker duo since 2016 at Alabama, he says. I will say, you mentioned Campbell earlier, and his play was terrific, obviously. I thought the biggest play maybe he made was in the third quarter. I think Alabama had just taken the lead, and it's Tennessee's next possession after Alabama had taken their first lead. And Tennessee's 3rd and long, and Joe Milton finds Jacob Warren out kind of by himself, and Campbell tackles him in the open field. I mean, gets him to the ground. Warren's a big guy, big tight end. If they convert that first down, you feel like it's about to get in a little bit of back and forth. You force them to punt, and I think Alabama went down and kicked a field goal, so they kept the momentum. Huge play by Jihad Campbell there.
Had a couple of them, yes.
Yeah. Worst, I've not seen this, but it's been mentioned a couple times in the chat room here today. Apparently, Emmanuel Acho encouraged Caleb Williams to quit after the loss.
He did.
No, he did not.
He did.
Where did he say this?
On Fox. They had the night game, right? Was that game on Fox?
Yeah, it was on Fox.
Main Fox?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was after that game, post game. He said, you got a personal decision, man. You got nothing left to play for. You're not going to win the Heisman. You're not going to win the national college football playoff. You still win the conference, yeah. I'm not, this is all his, not word for word. This is what he was saying. No, Dusty was livid today on Danny and Dusty, and I saw the comments that came across my TikTok feed with him saying it.
Well, I mean, look, if you're being realistic, I mean, the season is done from what they wanted. But if they were to go 10-2, they're still in the Pac-12 championship game. They win the Pac-12 championship. They're 11-2. There's a bunch of carnage. Crazier things have happened.
Yep.
But with that said, I mean, this is a decision.
Here is his tweet that he sent out. With national championship hopes gone, Caleb Williams should consider sitting out the rest of the season. The Heisman is a long shot. College football playoffs are even less likely. And he won't play in the bowl game because he's going to sit out because he's the first overall pick. The risk of playing far outweighs the reward. Business decision from Emmanuel Acho there.
Okay, here's your problem. Well, there's a lot of problems with that. But let's just go. How many teams are eliminated right now already from the college football playoff? 95% of them. So we're going to have 95% of your best players on all of these teams that have a future in the NFL shutting it down. And for the remainder of the season, their teammates don't have opportunities to win games because of business decisions.
And it would not hurt probably his draft stock at all. I'm sure he'd get drafted in the same spot. But if I am a general manager or owner, I do not want an NFL quarterback in my franchise that remotely considers punching out when you're out of contention.
Yeah. I mean, just look. I mean, you get drafted, say Bryce Young. Look at the battle he's having to fight right now just to get first downs in the NFL. I mean, it's going to get tough on you, young man.
Yeah.
But here's where I would go on this.
I mean, look at Mac Jones.
Oh, look at Mac Jones. Here's where I would go on this. Absolutely on this. You threw out the stat, Brown. What's he done against the best defenses in college football? Has been a very flat line stat line from Caleb Williams. His stats have been against teams that are not NFL quality defenses. It's all quarterbacks are a risky pick. But to me, you quit now, and then you've laid that out against the best defenses in the country. Sorry, dude. I mean, I'm not risking it on you.
Yeah, and you've still got Oregon, Washington, and UCLA where you can really prove your worth.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of upside to Caleb continuing to play. How long is it before? Because we talked about Madden, and look, and I am a jinx guy. I'll tell you what, I made the major mistake yesterday. I felt really comfortable with the Rams up 9-3 at halftime, and I decided to drink my first beer at half. And I got out this mug that our friend Cody had brought us to Baumhauer's one time.
New mug.
And I've used it one time. It was the Carson Wentz game where he blows his knee in the Coliseum. We lost that game. I've never used it again. I brought it out, and I was like, you know what? We're going to reverse jinx this thing. And I poured my first beer, went down first play. It's almost a pick six, TJ Watt. I immediately went and switched glasses, and we ended up losing the game. But how long is it going to be before we start talking about the Dr. Pepper jinx? DJ, multiple losses. Not even with Clemson anymore. Bryce Young, multiple losses. Caleb Williams, multiple losses.
Oh, they're all Fansville.
You
The Fansville
can't
jinx.
win a championship if you sign a deal with Fansville.
The Fansville jinx. I had not thought of that until you just brought it up.
Yeah.
NH3425 says, as bad as their offense is, Iowa got screwed on that fair catch Saturday.
What do y'all think about that? I've seen a ground level TV view of it now, Brown. And the high view, the TV coverage view,
doesn't look as bad.
It looks like he's signaling as he's going. He's pointing and he's running, but it could be seen as a waving view.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But down low, at player level, ground level, I can't see that other arm flying around as much. It just looks like he's running to me. And you never saw a Minnesota player stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'll have to confess, I had it on. And I noticed something weird was going on, but it was during Alabama-Tennessee, so I had to swap over, so I missed this live, okay? Right. I'm watching it, but I couldn't hear the sound. So it took me a minute to digest, so I think everything I'm telling you is correct. Now, first of all, the rule, it's a very confusingly named rule. It's called an invalid fair catch rule, okay? So essentially the way the rule works is, and this is the way it's enforced, I think the way the rule's written is any signal above the shoulders is ruled as basically a fair catch signal.
That's right.
So if you do that and then you take the ball and run with it, then it becomes an invalid fair catch signal. That's the way the rule works. I can tell you the way the rule's enforced. Anything you do that's a demonstrative motion with your hands, even if you're saying, get back, get back, get back, they are going to rule it that way, whether it's above your shoulders or not. And what bothers me on this one is, like, if the ref had blown it dead real time, I'm okay with it.
Right.
They did it in review.
That's right. And they didn't. I don't think they.
It wasn't the review for that.
No, the review was for out of bounds.
Was looking for.
That's what bothers me about it.
Right, because they were reviewing. Did they announce on the broadcast? Plays under review. We're checking to see if he stepped out of bounds.
That's where I don't know, because
I had it on a secondary TV too, and I didn't go back until after the fact. But yeah, for them to review that, and that's why Kirk Ferentz was so upset with it.
Yeah.
Now, from what I hear,
and Scott's showing a still shot, so you see about where his arm is, about shoulder height.
He hadn't planned on returning the punt. What he was trying to do is get everybody to scatter.
That's right.
And you are allowed to point at the ball and tell people to get away, then field it and run. But it was the other arm that makes it. They actually, the head referee spoke to a pool reporter afterwards and explained it. It was the motion running the arm. Now, Kirk Ferentz said, and this happens before every game. They always tell us before every game, a fair catch, guys, make sure you get it above your shoulders and make sure you give it a good hard wave. I've never understood, never played the game at that level, how punt guys can tell. I mean, you're running downfield, you're avoiding blockers and stuff. I never can tell, because sometimes they just give you one of these and they're catching it. I've never understood how you're able to tell when it's a fair catch or not.
I don't know if there's any truth to this, but I heard on the review when they called, the Big Ten officiating said, hey, look, if we let them score this touchdown, looking at this schedule, they could go 11-1.
Yeah.
And in a one-game situation against Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, if they're +5 in turnovers, they might be able to win this game and get to a college football playoff. And that is fair to no one.
Yeah.
This is an easy way to make sure they're taken out of the equation forever.
Hey, it's wild. That Big Ten West is yucky now.
Wisconsin's in first place, but they get Ohio State this
that's
week.
right. Yeah, they can lock it down, by the way, with a win over Ohio State. So if you were in Bryant-Denny Stadium, a similar rule was applied to Tennessee. Those of you that watched on TV got the explanation from CBS. But if you were in the stadium, you might not realize what happened there. The reason Tennessee had to start that one drive on their 4-yard line is because the off returner, not even the guy that returned it, did the T, which basically tells my return guys, we're letting this go into the end zone. You know, don't blow somebody up here and get a penalty, right? That kills the play, essentially. And that's the way that rule is applied. Now, on replay, it never looked like he did a good solid T, but the rules, they officiated it that way. What I didn't understand is the guy picks it up and runs it, and they spot it on the 4. Like, I would have just thought that it would have been ruled as a touchback. I didn't know that that's how you administered that rule.
Oh, it's from where he does where the guy, it's where the guy picked it up and started running. It comes back to that spot.
Right. So that's why Tennessee started a drive on the 4, and it was a
big play.
It was a huge play.
Yeah,
but it's basically the same exact rule that cost Iowa the touchdown.
Yeah, 2 of those in the same weekend. Show being brought to you in part by our friends at Bromberg's LT.
Bromberg's got to see Brian, Chrissy, a lot of the Bromberg's folks were at the benefit we were at last night. The holidays right around the corner. If you're thinking about popping the question, they are your diamond specialists. Nothing like giving or getting that silver box from our friends at Bromberg's. 2 great locations, Mountain Brook and the Summit. You can pop the question this holiday season. Make sure you see the Diamond Specialist first. For more information, Brombergs.com.
Troy says neither arm above his shoulder, not a fair catch. Freaking Big Ten officiating. It was a rough weekend for officials, by the way. Trey says bad weekend for officials. We've gotten a lot of worse being officiating across the board.
They might have cost the Rams game yesterday. Back-to-back bad calls. One possession. I know you guys were there, and I didn't get to the event until late because I was watching. That was awful.
I did not see what upset you. There was a spot, right, that really was the big deal.
Well, there was a 3rd and 8 from midfield where it was pass interference was called. It was not a pass interference. Even Butch Johnston said it on the broadcast. He was like, that's an awful call. They made up for it by throwing a taunt on Pittsburgh to offset it. Pittsburgh picks up 7. They've got a 4th and 1 on the Rams 40. Rams are out of timeouts. And did you guys know this rule? So inside of 2 minutes, the spot can be reviewed.
Yep.
Now, I didn't know if at the 2-minute mark it could be reviewed or not. I was really surprised because when they took down, they were talking about this, and Mike Tomlin could have taken a timeout. And I wasn't sure if it went to 2 minutes if they were going to be able to review it, but they gave Kenny Pickett an unbelievable spot where he fell down. Everybody in the stadium could see it. It was a terrible call.
G. Kerbo says Lincoln Riley has ruined every quarterback he's had because he refuses to have a good defensive coach. I don't know that it's ruined the quarterbacks. I mean, his quarterbacks have generally performed well and gotten good.
Baker Mayfield started yesterday in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray's not starting because he's hurt right now. I don't think he's ruining quarterbacks, but he is ruining his chances of winning national championships because he refuses to have a good defense.
Yeah, I mean, but he brings in good portal guys, but they're relying on the portal so much. I mean, Bear Alexander's a great player. Just, they don't mesh. They don't have, I don't know if it's the schemes or what. They just don't mesh together, and they end up being a very poor defense total there. We'll do a lot more college football when we come back in the next segment and then talk to Joel Klatt as we approach the top of the hour here on the next round. Don't forget, the new AP poll is out. You Georgia fans, get excited. 19 straight AP polls there at number 1. That's the 3rd longest in NCAA college football history. Can you give me the 2 other teams that have been longer than Georgia at number 1 in the AP poll?
I would say that Oklahoma's got to be one.
Oklahoma is not one, which surprised me.
That
because they have the nation's longest winning streak.
Yeah, and anytime that
by a lot.
Like, anytime consecutive wins and all that comes up, it's that Oklahoma team does it right. I don't know why they didn't get ranked the way they should have. Were they on probation or something?
Or were they playing a weak Big 8 schedule? I don't know why, but it's not them.
Was it USC from 3 to 5?
USC is number 1 overall LT from 2003 to 2005. 33 straight AP polls at number 1. And Georgia's 3. Do you know who number 2 is?
I will say the Miami Hurricanes just randomly, or Bama.
Miami Hurricanes is right. I was expecting someone at some point to say Alabama. but it was not. It's Miami from back in 2001 to 2002. They were there for 21 straight weeks. So Georgia's got a chance to tie that record, and they would have to do a lot to catch up to that USC Trojan team. AP poll out, Alabama's back in at number 9. When we come back, more college football. The show being brought to you by our friends at Milo's. Man, those loaded fries. Show them a picture, Forrester, of the loaded fries. You talk about a great appetizer to watch the game. Check out the loaded fries, and you can get a free order of the Milo's loaded fries if you go and download the Milo's app in the store. The classic crinkle cut fries topped with queso, bacon, and jalapenos for the Mexi fries there, or 100% pure ground beef, grilled onions, Milo sauce, and queso for the saucy fries. Download the Milo's mobile app. Use the promo code NEXTROUND to try one of their new loaded fries for free. It's the Milo's app and the promo code NEXTROUND.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at New Life Art. Daniel A. Moore has completed his original full-color oil painting honoring Bryce Young, Alabama's 4th Heisman Trophy winner. This painting depicts the memorable Heisman-worthy go-ahead pinpoint pass to John Mechie in the corner of the end zone as the Tide dismantled the vaunted Georgia defense in the SEC championship game this past year. Use code TNR for 15% off. You can order online at danielmooreart.com.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pests, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight, because we got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today.
You could win a Dodge Challenger RT or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You could be a winner too. Come win your share during the Challenger RT and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings October 27th and 28th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, let's get rehydrated here for hour number 2 with our friends at HydroLife. By the way, UCF, if you watch that broadcast, Gus Malzahn apologized to the broadcast crew. Lugs was on that game, apologized to the broadcast crew. They were waiting to interview John Rice Plumlee. Gus came back in himself personally and said, hey, I apologize, guys. John Rice is sick. And, in fact, a lot of our guys are sick, and he's getting an IV. He's going to have to miss the interview. The next morning, pregame, Gus tells them 13 players got IV bags before the game last night, and then again before the game because they were throwing up and they had a stomach virus on the team. And then they went out and played their butts off in a 31-29 loss there in Norman.
And Gus threw up on the 2-point play.
Oh, that 2-point play,
Awful.
in case we don't get back to it.
It's Royal Payne's worst of the weekend was the UCF 2-point play.
Well, I don't understand. I mean, you got a list, I assume. I've never coached a major college game. But I imagine at some point on that call sheet, you've got 8, 9, 10 of your best 2-point plays.
Right.
How does a double pass?
From the 3-yard line, by the way.
I mean, you've only got a couple of you don't have an acre to work with on trying to fool somebody. How do you get to a double pass on that?
I don't know, and they played their asses off. Rice Plumlee is good though. That guy can play,
and that's what I go back to on a 2-point conversion. Something that gives him the option,
no doubt,
to run it or throw it to multiple people.
Yeah, let's don't let a wide receiver throw.
Your best player on the field, the ball should be in his hands for that critical moment.
And you took it out of his hands instantly because all he does is take the snap and throws it out to a non-quarterback who's running backwards and sideways towards the sidelines.
Hey, we warned you all week, though. This could be one of those games where they could actually pull off the outright upset, and they had every opportunity to do it. I mean, they had a touchdown lead in the fourth quarter.
Your best play at Lance's Lock all week long was Ravens beating the Lions. That was the easiest money anybody's ever made at mybookie.ag.
It was our biggest play of the weekend, and we were 3-0 yesterday. We were 7-6 in college, so we had a nice weekend for you. But look, if you're like me struggling with allergies, talked to my doc this morning, and the allergy thing is real right now if you deal with it. And it's only like in the spring I'll deal with it a lot. In the fall it's like 1 or 2 really bad days, and that's going on right now. But I'll tell you what, an IV from our friends at Hydra Live can do the trick. I think I'm going to head down there right after the show today. IV therapy, cryotherapy, compression therapy, B12 injections, all under one roof. Make sure you mention Next Round at checkout. You're going to get 20% off any of these great services. If you're in Birmingham, locations in Homewood and now Greystone, open 7 days a week. If you can't make it, they can send a nurse to you. Again, at checkout, mention Next Round, 20% off all these services. For more information, HydraLifeTherapy.com.
All right, here we go. Forrester's got a couple of interesting things from us on the social media platforms that we saw over the weekend. Let me just set the scene first. Okay, in games, they don't even allow you in Tuscaloosa to go on the field and do the old local news stand-up. For Action News, I'm Jim Dunaway, Bryant-Denny Stadium. You don't get to do that on the field. You got to stay in the stands. In the old days, you'd go do it at the end of the end zone, and some guy would be out there, rolling the field and mowing the field to get it, post-trauma of the game being played. So they don't want you on the field anymore. They don't even allow the media back out there. Once the players had smoked their cigars and left, they do all the treatment they do on the field, and they don't want anybody walking on it. So one good old boy has probably got a few cocktails, seemed to be a young student-like guy looking. He gets warned 2 or 3 times, I'm told. Hey, man, get off the grass. Get off the grass. Hey, dude, get off the field. Get off the grass. And then this happens. LT, have you seen this? Look at this. Boom! Oh, my.
Hardest hit of the day on that field. That was a physical game, too.
And then they taunt him. I mean, there would be flags everywhere for taunting.
What is better, the yellow? The 3 things that jump out at me is the hit the Yellow Jacket puts on him, number 1.
Boom!
Number 2, the casual nature with which the Yellow Jacket just gets up and walks away after destroying a guy. Or number 3, the blue shirt that comes out of nowhere to taunt.
Well, it's like his hype man. Look, he walks off with him.
I know.
Yeah, I think it was the blue guy, the blue shirt guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's 30 yards away when the hit takes place, and he comes in to get in his face and taunt him.
Hey, I like how they drag him off, though.
not a training staff member there. And Josh Pate was at the Ohio State LSU game, Ohio State Penn State game.
How far out after the game was that? Any idea?
I mean, it's a good hour if the field is that empty. Yeah.
I thought that was Josh Pate for a second walking in. It could be me walking in there. I wasn't there at that point.
Boom.
Oh, man.
Ashley says Yellow Jacket guy about to get sued. I don't think you could sue him for that.
No, he's trespassing.
Not in my court.
You can sue anybody, but he's trespassing. That's going to be a tough one.
You should not be on the field at that point, young man.
And I know there was some discussion in this office that maybe the hit was a little over the top, probably didn't require that. And as Dunaway and I were trying to explain to some people in the office, while it might be, yes, absolutely it is over the top, you sometimes you got to shank a person in the prison to establish dominance, right? you got to make sure everybody knows that field ain't going to be rushed there at the end of the game. Or an hour after the game, you're not getting on that field.
In fact, the last television timeout at Bryant-Denny Stadium, they should say, if I direct your attention to the big screens at any corner of the stadium here, we'd like to remind you that here at the University of Alabama, we don't rush fields after we beat teams like they do at other schools, Tennessee. Nobody rushed the field the other day. It was amazing seeing the players leave with green grass around them. So if you'll notice, we don't rush. In fact, stay off our field unless this will happen to you.
So up until 2 hours after the game, we'll still hit you on the field.
I got no problem with this.
Yeah. No, you got to send a message on those types deals.
Yeah.
All right, you got lit up now. You paid for it.
Hey, by the way, that proves to you, though, one more time, Forster, it is the kickoff is the most dangerous play in football. Because that is a full run down the field kickoff style, and that guy should have stepped out of bounds.
I was out.
Yeah, that was targeting. I hope he's okay.
I agree with Lance. I think blue shirt taunting is my favorite part of it. Of the entire video, my favorite part is the blue shirt. He was out of breath when he got there, too.
Yeah. Did that guy play for Saban at some point, that yellow shirt guy?
I don't know, but look how casually he just walks off. He just separated a man from his soul, and he walks off.
Who's rolling so quick? I guess they were hearing him yell.
Probably.
Get off the field. Get off the field. And they're rolling already because that's a quick roll. So hats off to you at _Beard11 for getting that. That was fantastic. All right. One more thing. If you're going to talk the Smack pregame, don't delete your tweets.
Who are you, Kane Womack? Sometimes it's a good idea in the boardroom to get your ass kicked on the playground.
Auburn's official football Twitter, right, Forster? Am I right about this? And they deleted it later after Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss clapped back. Ole Miss sends this, Coach Freeze and the man who won. Because before the game, Auburn has the handshake, and that's Auburn's official account, Coach Freeze and a fan. And it's Lane Kiffin and Hugh talking, to which Ole Miss claps back after the game, Coach Freeze and the man who won. And then Auburn, you're telling me, Forster, Auburn ended up deleting it?
Man,
this post is unavailable.
What did Ole Miss say to that?
Why did you delete the tweet at Auburn football?
Didn't Taylor find a tweet that Lane Kiffin had gone back and I would rather Lane Kiffin be watching film, even for Vanderbilt this week, than digging around and going back and holding those, we'll call them the Dion receipts, and sending out that tweet.
The tweet was from January 21st of 2023 that Lane Kiffin tweeted. Now, I don't get the entire context here, but the grass way greener was the tweet that he retweeted Saturday after the game. That's Lane from you.
Yeah.
That's what Lane gives you.
I think it was talking about the Auburn.
It was. I just don't know the full context.
Yeah, me either. All right. Part of the show today being brought to you this hour by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City. Had a chance to see Greg on Friday. He always wants me to remind you that small summer storms, spring storms, can loosen things on your roof that can cause severe damage if it's not treated pretty quickly. And that's why he loves to occasionally remind you to do a free no-cost roof inspection. 205-542-3531. 205-542-3531 for that free no-cost, no-obligation roof inspection from Greg Nelson and Storm Restoration Roofing. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, locally owned for over 20 years. He and his wife run the company, and insurance companies trust him. You can ask several of our viewers how much that helps them when they're replacing a roof or fixing storm damage. It is Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, Storm Restoration Roofing. So close to being a snow globe Saturday. We'll react to all these games, but Oklahoma, UCF, we talked about already. Florida State and Duke, it was 2017 when Riley Leonard went out. Texas has to hold on, Houston with the ball in hand and a chance to tie or win it. And then Washington was the one that was the closest to being beat of all of them. They didn't drop in the poll either. They stayed at number 5. Washington, 15-7, Arizona State. Let me set the scenario for you, and then you tell me what you would do. 7-6. Arizona State's played their butts off. They have confused Michael Penix, and Penix wasn't on his A game. It's late. It's 4th and 3. Easy chip field goal area. And Kenny Dillingham, who, by the way, coached with Dan Lanning last year, decides to go for it on 4th down, and he throws one out in the flat that's a pick six the other way, and it gives Washington their touchdown of the game, and that flips it around 15-7 and ends up Do you kick the field goal and make it 10-6 and force them to score a touchdown, or did you like the play and the decision?
All I would tell you is your kicker was 0 of 2 that day.
That is true.
They're not. I don't know that they are fully dependable in special teams. I had no problem with them going for it. None whatsoever.
Yeah, I talked to somebody last night that had a big problem, a former coach, and he was like, you got to take the points there. I'm not so sure. You know, it's 4th and 3. You mentioned the kicker had already missed 2 kicks. It's probably in his head.
2 short ones, too, right?
Yeah,
one of them I know was
I can
what
give
are
you
the
the exact
chances of a
yardages.
pick 6? You throw a pick in the end zone, they've got the ball in the 20, or worst case, you don't pick up the 3, they've got the ball at the 12, and they still got to go the full, well, not the full distance, but they got to go down and kick the field goal. I don't know. You could look at it either way. Boy, that was...
was that surprising?
Yeah. I thought Washington would completely dominate Arizona State. And I said there were 2 things they wanted out of this game: stay healthy and Penix Jr. to run up numbers against this Arizona State defense. And they relatively stayed healthy, but the latter did not hold.
Yeah. I had no problem with watching the game, had no problem with them going for it.
Yeah. And I had forgotten about how bad the kicker had been when I brought it up, because I missed the first missed kick, but the second missed kick, I was all over it. And it reminded you of that kick that from the Alabama-Georgia national championship game at the end that could have won it for Alabama. And I think the joke was that knocked a painting off the left wall of my living room. It missed so far left.
I saw one of those yesterday, too.
Yeah.
Brett Maurer for the Rams, 51-yard attempt. It was already in his head. It went all the way to the left wall, too.
So it's just, I mean, those kickers, they're never automatic. So going forward is one thing.
And by the way, Washington is living, like, that was such a big game last week against Oregon, 1-possession game. But you go back week before against Arizona, 1-possession game. This week against Arizona State, 1-possession game. They can't keep playing these 1-possession games and hope to continue to win.
Yeah. Good time to go play a bad Stanford team. It got beat 42-7 by UCLA this past week.
32 and 30. Oh, no, hang on. The missed field goal, the first missed field goal in the first half was a 31-yarder.
31.
That is a short field goal to miss. The second one was a little bit longer, 43, and it was blocked. So you've had one blocked and you've missed one. I have got no problem in that situation with the coach saying, we came here to win this game, and my kicker, my special teams, not just my kicker, my overall special teams have let me down tonight. I'm not putting it back in their hands right here. I don't know if I'm going to get back down here.
And they're the ones that actually forced his hand, because you make both those kicks, they kick.
That's right.
Yeah. Texas survives Houston. Florida State beats Duke. Duke's up 2017 when Riley Leonard, who was already limited, gets hurt again. And they're down there, 4th and 3, with a field goal to make it, I think at that time would have made it 23-17. And they chose to go for it there, and Florida State comes back and win the game. You had a problem at that point, or I think afterwards people were saying they didn't think they would have a chance at a touchdown again with the backup quarterback, so they were trying to get a little cushion.
Yeah, when it's my backup, I'm probably more likely to kick with my backup in there, to answer that question, yeah. Now, that depends on who the backup is.
And then there's the Alabama Power upset of the weekend, and that is North Carolina. Our friends at Alabama Power want to remind you that their app is the best power tool you can have to manage your account. You'll have access to all your digital tools in one convenient spot. Tools that help you take action, whether it's your use of energy, whether it's an outage, whether you want to pay your bill. It's all right there in your Apple or Android stores. To download it today, simply search Alabama Power in your app store, or go to alabamapower.com/mobile app, alabamapower.com/mobile app to download it today. Nobody saw North Carolina, Virginia coming, right? You never. I mean, Tony.
So my pick 3.
I did bring this up though when you guys both had it. I said, we need to circle back, on this Virginia game.
You wrote it down. Did you circle back? I can't remember.
I took a look at it. It didn't make sense.
God, they're so bad, Lance.
Yeah.
Virginia is so incredibly bad, Dunaway. It just didn't seem like there was any way. But, boy, North Carolina was bad. And not only did Dunaway have him, he had the T-shirt on. Do you remember?
Remember I wore the T-shirt.
He wore the North Carolina T-shirt and put him in his pick 3.
Put him in my pick 3. And my wife goes to Duke now. And
That's
she's
right.
like, what's up with this T-shirt? And I said, I had this T-shirt before. I think I almost said before I had you, but I think I bought it after that. In that game, what is crazy is Mike Hollins scored 3 touchdowns. He is the guy that survived the shooting.
Yeah.
He was one of the athletes, the 3 that passed in that horrible shooting. He survived it and was in the hospital for a short period of time. He scored 3 touchdowns in that game. And they were a 1-5 team. Their only win was against William and Mary. But this happened to North Carolina last year. Remember, they lost to Georgia Tech about this time last year when they were off to a good start.
Yeah, the crazier thing, in Chapel Hill, North Carolina was +1 in turnovers. They outgained Virginia, and they lose the game. With a quarterback that is 100 times better than what Virginia has.
Drake May completes only 50% of his passes, and they were 4 of 15 on third down. Virginia won third down, and that's how they won the football game. Speaking of third downs, the biggest game of the weekend, it was such a crazy weekend for near upsets and upsets that we didn't even get to the biggest game. Ohio State, Penn State. We'll talk to Joel Klatt about that coming up in the next segment when Klatt joins us. But the stat that comes out of that game, 1 of 16 on third down is what Penn State was.
James Franklin is completely dependable in these games. Completely dependable. You know exactly what you're going to get out of him.
A loss.
A loss.
Yep.
1 of 16? Is that what it is?
16.
Ohio State wasn't great.
No, but it really, you watch that game and you thought to yourself, Michigan is the best team in the Big Ten. Watching those two play each other. Rockstar, give me cut number 6. James Franklin gets asked about now being, I believe, 1-9 against Ohio State, or is it 1-10 now?
1-9.
1-9. 3-16 against top 10 teams. Franklin gets asked about that in his crisp white hoodie afterwards.
Is it unfair for people to judge this rivalry, the 1-9 in your regime, as a referendum on you overall? Because I think they might. So that's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, I totally get it. That's a good football team. What I'll talk about is today. We lost to a really good football team on the road. We had our chances. We battled. We weren't able to capitalize. Big picture things, I'll be happy to talk about that at some point. But right now I want to talk about we lost to a really good football team on the road, didn't make enough plays when we needed to make the plays. And I think it's a fair question. I get the question, but right now I'm worried about this game.
If you're not going to answer it, give me one more, okay? Do you think...
I did answer. I didn't answer the way you wanted me to, but go ahead.
I think it's a non-answer, but anyway, do you think your wideouts in your passing game was good enough to win this game against this defense?
No.
Why?
We didn't make enough plays today. We did not make enough plays in the passing game. We weren't able to create separation. We weren't able to create separation with enough time to allow those guys to separate. Combination of all those things.
That's James Franklin afterwards in what was the game of the weekend, but got overshadowed by some of the upsets or near upsets there, right?
Do you think that's fair, like when you probe, and I'm not the biggest Franklin guy, but do you think it's fair to probe a guy like that after a loss?
Well, I actually...
It seemed like that guy had Penn State plus a point.
I thought it was a fair question, and I also thought Franklin answered it. And then I didn't answer the way you wanted me to, but I did answer.
That's right. I did give you an answer, and I didn't blow up. I didn't get mad.
That's right.
Yeah. And did that come from a Buckeye site? It said Buckeye Huddle, so it was a Buckeye site that was asking the question.
Real quick, though, 15 total possessions for Penn State in that game. You normally don't get 15 possessions in a college football game, but it was such a defensive game. 15 possessions, 5 of those 3 and out. So a third of your possessions were 3 and outs.
That's unbelievable.
That is.
Joel Klatt, he was at the game. We'll talk to him about that and everything else going on in college football coming up. The show being brought to you in part by our friends at Odie's. Man, just a great, exciting night coming up Thursday night when we'll be at Odie's in Homewood.
Yeah, so we'll be at Odie's in Crestline, the original location, on Wednesday night for Odie's Team Trivia. Thursday night, as you mentioned, Bud Light game night. Come out, see us, enjoy some of the great food from Rodney Davis. Ice-cold beer buckets of Bud Light, inside or outside on those great patios. Get in today to one of those 2 locations. Go see Will Haver and that great staff, Odie's Tavern.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Red Wing Shoes is pleased to announce the ultimate fit and comfort savings event during the month of October. Mention the Next Round and receive a special discount of up to $30 off. Visit your local Red Wing Shoe store in Pelham or Trussville to have your feet electronically measured. A certified fit specialist will then recommend the proper footwear and orthotic to ensure you receive a comfortable pair of boots or shoes. So be prepared as the fall weather begins to change. Enjoy a pair of classic Red Wing Pecos pull-ons, Heritage Iron Rangers, or Vask hiking boots from Red Wing.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest, or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Joel Klatt momentarily, and everything else going on in college football. Baseball happening today, deciding Game 7 tonight in the American League and Game 6 of Philadelphia and Arizona this afternoon. So Rangers and Astros down to the craziness tonight. Winner moves on to the World Series. Max Scherzer getting the start for the Rangers against Javier for the Astros. Michelson Laser Vision with that look into the baseball playoffs.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made more than 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, which only took 12 minutes for both eyes, 2015 vision, better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Okay, listen, Samuel Acho's comments about Caleb Williams, I got to be, transparent as well in our postgame, just reacting to the way he was on the sidelines. You guys brought it up about how emotional he was. I said he was acting like a guy who had played his last game in a USC uniform.
You did say that.
Yeah. And that was without seeing Samuel's comments. He was emotional. He looked like he was sort of taking it all in, sitting there on the bench, like maybe that was his last game. So we'll see what Caleb Williams decides down there.
I'd be shocked.
Well, I
would be too.
I told Lance in the break, it has now started. The first time I remember this was, the most recent times. Kirby Smart, and Mark Richt. You know how they were comparing all along. Kirby's just the next Mark Richt. He's just the next Mark Richt. Kirby passed him. You don't ever hear that anymore.
That's right.
Now it is Jimbo Fisher and Kevin Sumlin. Jimbo Fisher's falling behind now, so he's behind what Kevin Sumlin was. The new one, through 22 games, record for Lincoln Riley and record for Clay Helton, 17-5. So that's going to be your new one.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Well, that second year, Clay Helton, that's when Sam Darnold should have been starting from week 1. They ended up winning 11 games in the Rose Bowl, and that was his one.
That was his
hang
one.
your hat.
Numbers don't
season.
lie, though.
Yeah,
Numbers
but
don't lie.
I will say
17-5.
You let Lincoln Riley stay there, he'll have a better record than Clay Helton. I think Lincoln is always going to be a 10-win guy that's going to find a loss or two because of his defense. He's always going to have a tremendous offense. His problem, Lance, is the night his offense is off, your defense has to be spectacular, which it was pretty dang good at Notre Dame.
It was.
And you just can't do that enough, man.
Joel Klatt momentarily. Big news from Quinn Ewers. They had to finish the game with Malik Murphy. They trusted him to throw 2 passes. He was one of 2, but he's the quarterback for the foreseeable future at Texas because Quinn Ewers has a grade 2 AC joint. Last year it was an SC joint where the joint connected the sternum from the hit in the Alabama game. He missed 4 weeks in that game, so no telling how long he's out. But Ewers in Texas, they got BYU this week. Then their Kansas State is after that, and Kansas State looks like they've found a double dose at quarterback. Without Quinn Ewers, that becomes a very interesting game for the Texas Longhorns coming up without their QB1.
Yeah, both those games at home, which is a plus for them. If you had to go to Manhattan, that would be really tricky.
Would be.
All right, Joel Klatt is with us, Fox Sports analyst. You saw him on the Big Noon Kick, Ohio State and Penn State with Gus and the All-American girl. He is with us now courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to MyBookie.ag. Still get that 110% sign-on bonus, free money from MyBookie.ag. What is up, Klatt? How are you today?
I'm good. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. Thank you. That was a terse answer. I mean, that felt terse there. Are we okay?
Oh yeah, I'm excited for this season. Like, I'm more excited right now in this season than I've been in a long time because it seems very up in the air, which is awesome in my eyes. I mean, the fact that everybody in the top 10 basically struggled really badly outside of, the top 10 matchup and maybe outside of Michigan, to me, we're in for a treat down the stretch, Heisman-wise, best team-wise, playoff rankings-wise. And I think we've needed a year like this for a long time. So, yeah, I'm excited. So not terse. Excitement.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excitement. Good.
I don't think anybody's surprised USC's got 2 losses. I don't think anybody's blown away that Utah beat them again. But your colleague, Emmanuel Ocho, after the game, tweets out talking about Caleb Williams should take a look at a business decision, possibly shutting down the rest of the season. I think it's honestly ridiculous because you've still got a lot to play for. Do you think there's any chance Caleb Williams shuts it down after that game?
I hope not. That was, to put it lightly, that was an unfortunate take to throw out there. I hate seeing that. Not everything is a business decision. I think that we, to some degree, have stolen the college experience from players with what it is and how we view the sport and what we deem as valuable. If he makes that decision, that's his decision. But to encourage it, I think is another thing. And I hope that it's not the case. Like I said, it's really unfortunate, in particular for a guy who played it, knows what the locker room is like, knows how many people are relying on him as a member of that team. I think that we forget what team is all about here. This is not an individual sport. And, like I said, I wouldn't begrudge him if he made that decision. However, to encourage it from the outside is something totally different. I hope that that's not the case. He does have a lot to play for. And by the way, I know this sounds wild, but it's going to sound wild. The Heisman's not totally out of the question. It's been thrown totally. I mean, Penix was in the lead. Now, all of a sudden, the betting favorite is J.J. McCarthy. Nobody is taking hold here. He still has games against Washington and Oregon later in the year. This is still a team with only 1 loss in the Pac-12. There's a ton to play for. Maybe they don't get into the college football playoff, but I'm here to tell you, if they were to win every game. Now, do I think that they will? Probably not with the way that they have played, in particular on the offensive line. But let's say they go on a run. And he starts playing amazing, and the offense starts finding a rhythm, and they start giving the ball to Marshawn Lloyd more than 7-8 times a game, and they make a run. Who's to say he can't win it again, right? And to me, regardless, he would have to become a Hall of Fame quarterback, win multiple Super Bowls to overcome what a legacy of a second Heisman Trophy would mean. This is the most prestigious individual award in the sport, in sports plural. It just is. There's no higher individual award that we can give an athlete in any sport. And I don't think it's totally out of the question. And so to have that take, man, that's frustrating. It screamed, look at me, rather than just like, hey, let this kid make a decision.
Do you think if you'd have told James Franklin on Thursday or Friday, the last time you talked to him before the game, that Drew Aller is going to throw 42 passes, do you think you would have known instantly, he'd have known instantly he lost that game?
Yep. No question about it. With the way that our conversations went, we asked him specifically about style of offense. We talked about, the lack of explosiveness. We talked about the complementary system that they feel like they had, playing to their defense, playing to their running game. And yes, so if you would have said, and it wasn't just the 42, because you could say like, well, the last series created a bigger margin. That's fine. Before the last series where they were just going to go out and, let's face it, it was basically garbage time. It's a last ditch effort. He threw it 12 times on that series. Prior to that, they had run it with Singleton or Allen 18 combined times. Those two guys had 18 combined rushes. Aller had 30 pass attempts. So even before the inflated, 42 number, it was still out of balance for the way that they want to win, and need to play. I made this analogy, on my show earlier today. Ohio State had an out pitch. They have a Mariano Rivera cutter, and his name is Marvin Harrison Jr. And Ryan Day has been in these moments enough to know that it's like, hey, man, if I'm going down with my cutter. Like, you're going to have to beat my best in order to win on the scoreboard. And I don't think that Coach Franklin and Penn State have been in this scenario enough to really understand that. Complementary football and just playing your system is not going to win a top 10 matchup on the road. You guys know that after seeing so many of these throughout the years in the SEC with Bama and these other teams. You need players to play at their best, great players to play at their best. And I'm not saying that it's just, a lot of people are saying like, well, Penn State doesn't have a wide receiver. It's not about a wide receiver. It's about an out pitch. What's your out pitch? Is it a pass rush? Is it the running back? Is it the quarterback? What is it? What is it? And then you need to lean into that strength, that out pitch, and throw it. Marvin Harrison Jr. got 16 targets. Ryan Day wasn't going down without him getting that amount of targets. There was no possible way that Harrison Jr. in the middle of the third quarter, we would have looked up and been like, well, Gus, Marvin Harrison Jr. has only got 4 targets. That just wasn't in the cards at all. Meanwhile, Penn State, you felt like they were shocked at the style of game that they were in, that they were going to need more creativity, and then their best players who might be their out pitch, might be their players to take them to the next level. A Nicholas Singleton, a 5-star running back. There was no creativity to get him the ball in space. And so, to me, that was the issue. And it wasn't just targeting Marvin Harrison. It was the way that they used him. He lined up everywhere, on the ball, off the ball, right, left, in bunch sets, in a single receiver set. They threw screens to him. They threw slants to him. They threw a wheel to him. They threw in-breaking routes. They threw shallow crosses to him. That's the type of game plan that wins you big games. You have an out pitch, and in a big moment, you're going to throw it. It's 3rd and 11. You need to close out the game. Who's getting the ball? Marvin Harrison Jr. Whereas Penn State, they're out there throwing slants and in-breaking routes to like Liam Clifford. And that's not a knock on Liam Clifford. That's just not your out pitch. That can be a 2nd and 10 call in the middle of the field. But when you need it, where are you going? Where's the creativity? So, long answer to a simple question. If I asked James Franklin, Aller's going to throw it 42 times, he would have known 100%, yep, that didn't go the right way for us.
You're talking about Maserati Marv, not Marvin Harrison, please. Let's put some respect on that name, Klatt. Joel Klatt with us. Courtesy
I'm not gonna go. I saw the reaction.
No, I love it. It's Gus. Why is anybody upset about that? It's Gus.
I appreciate
it's polarizing. It's polarizing.
I appreciate the him setting the NIL table for Marvin Harrison Jr. the rest of the season.
My gosh.
The one thing I don't want Gus to do is dial back the way he calls a game. If anybody's gonna,
that's a great point. Neither do I.
No.
And here's the deal. I don't care if anybody likes it. I don't care if I like it, you like it, any of us. If Marv likes it, then great.
That's right.
Then let's go. And he seemed to like it after the game when he was asked about it. I will tell you, like, one of the best moments that I've had in the last 9 years calling games with Gus was seeing the origin of Hollywood Brown and being there and witnessing it happen, and then seeing Gus and Marquise, now Hollywood, interact for the first time after it became a thing. And Marquise walked up to him and was like so thankful. He was like, "This is the best," because he became a thing in part because of the nickname.
You don't know him, I don't think. Mike Rada was a local TV guy here on High School Friday nights, called Carnell Williams Cadillac Williams for the first time, and that stuck with him all the way through his NFL career and now coaching at Auburn from a high school football show.
Yeah, that's good. That's a really good one.
Joel Klatt with us, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign up to MyBookie.ag. Maserati or Cadillac could be in your future. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Free money. 110% sign-on bonus. I don't know, Klatt, I said this earlier. If you got second half Alabama, the second half they had against Tennessee, it's the best team in America. I truly believe that.
Well,
but you don't get it consistently.
It's good.
If you know, I'm saying if you got it for 60 minutes, Klatt, it is. It is.
No,
Tennessee.
No, it's not. It's good. It's good. It's
I think it's the best team in America.
Let's agree to disagree, y'all.
That's fine. That's fine. You can agree to disagree. You're just wrong.
Okay. Thank you, Klatt. Why am I wrong?
Would you like to comment on Brown's statement, Joel?
Yeah, tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah, because they still don't have a top end. That's still a quarterback that is not going to take you way above the X's and O's. I just talked about out pitch. That's still not an out pitch. That's still a system that's overcoming inadequacies. That's really great football. That's Michigan style football where it's like it's all working in conjunction with one another. But to be the best team in America, you've got to have, in particular on the offensive side, someone or something that you can hang your hat on to take you to the next gear that they just can't stop. They can play it perfectly and still not stop. And Milroe still isn't that player. Now, at its top end, I do think that they have a high ceiling. And I've adjusted that a little bit. I used to say low ceiling. I think that they've got a high ceiling. And the issue with Alabama is if they get into that moment, if LSU requires them to score 42 points, do you really believe that they can do that? Do they have that spot? Do they have the Rivera cutter, the Hoffman changeup, the Randy Johnson slider? Do they have it? When you know it's coming, they know they're calling it, and it still works.
They scored 27 second-half points now. 7 of those came from the defense.
I know, against Tennessee. Yeah. Let's stop with this whole Tennessee is even close to very good.
Okay, well, I mean, that would be 20 offensive points against a pretty good SEC defense. I mean, I'm not going to crumble Tennessee up and throw them away. It's a pretty good team.
Okay, that's fine, but you called them the best team in America. I'm just telling you what you need to be the best team in America is an element where they know it's coming, you know it's coming, you're not two-dimensional, you're totally one-dimensional, and it can still succeed. I didn't say they were bad. You're just putting them on a best team in America, and that's just false. There are other teams that have a gear that's way higher than Alabama. That doesn't mean Alabama can't beat those teams, but it is a question of can they go there and how long can they go there? Where's the red line? If we're talking a car analogy. So I love this Alabama team. I think Nick Saban loves this Alabama team. I think that coaches get – my dad was a coach, and he was this way, and I talk with coaches all the time. They love coaching teams that they feel like are maximizing what they are or even overachieving for what they are. And this team feels that way to me, is that they are maximizing what they're doing. They are playing a disciplined brand of football, a physical brand of football. And for those reasons, I really love it. I really do. And I love watching them. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to achieve at the high end, but they're not, even in that second half. Yeah, they're one of the 3 or 4 best teams in America. But to say unequivocally that it's like, oh, that's the best team in America, that's just not right, because they don't have the sixth gear on offense. It has to all be going well for them. They have to be in rhythm. They don't have Marvin Harrison. They don't have Brock Bowers. And that's what I'm saying. In order to be the best team in America, you have to have that element.
Did you ever have an AC joint sprain? And the reason I ask, Quinn Ewers, moving forward, is this a major problem for Texas? Oh, yeah. We've seen that before.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah. That's the AC joint sprain you had.
I mean, is Malik Murphy good enough to close the deal? You still got some tricky games out there.
You do, depending on mine was a grade 4. It was totally blown out. I played 3 weeks later. So I think that depending on, what his grade of separation is, we could see him back in somewhat of short order. Now, they gave me some things that I don't think are available these days. So
had you neighing like a horse?
Yeah. There was some racehorse. Anyways, let's you can Google DMSO. Okay, so Malik Murphy is really talented, and I'm interested to see how it plays out. I think for Texas, what you have to lean on now is that this isn't the team of last year or previous years that had to lean on quarterback play. And if the quarterback didn't play well, then they couldn't win. Remember, this is a better defense than what they've had in the past. This is a better overall run game. Even without Bijan, it's a more steady run game because the offensive line is better. Now, having said that, I thought last week was a bit alarming to see them play down to the level of their competition again, need a really bad spot to kind of stave off the upset. I don't know if you guys saw that 3rd and 1 that Houston had down inside the 10, inside of a minute and a half. Houston's about to have 1st and goal to basically tie the game, and Dana was going to go for 2. He went for 2 when he was the head coach of West Virginia in Austin a few years ago, if you remember, and beat Texas. He's going to go for 2 there. So Texas is on the brink of losing that game. They get an unbelievable spot from the officials on that 3rd and 1. So that is alarming. You ask about Malik Murphy. I think the fact that they can lean on a Jonathan Brooks and the run game is going to help him quite a bit. And the other parts of that team are going to have to step up and play excellent for him. They can't have letdowns elsewhere and just expect that this inexperienced, young, talented quarterback is going to bail them out. So, we'll see. It helps them, by the way, that league is not very good. It's really a 2-team league that's about to be in the SEC. So, that helps them out quite a bit.
Big new kick Saturday, 11 o'clock, local time on Fox. Oklahoma at Kansas. Oklahoma a 10-point favorite on the road. And Lawrence, that's where you'll see Klatt and Gus. You surprised by that?
Well, we got a little bit of a change-up, actually.
Whoa. That's not according to Dunaway's schedule here.
Are you kidding me?
Well, that is big noon Saturday, but...
You got Oregon, Utah?
Gus and I are going to go to Salt Lake with the All-American girl, and we've got Oregon, Utah. So we'll have the game just after the noon game. Which after Saturday's epic battle in the Coliseum, I'm really excited for. I really love Utah. Really love Utah. I feel like this didn't go well. I'm not knocking Alabama. This is always what happens. You go too high, I try to draw you back, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, Klatt's a Bama hater." No. I love this Bama team.
No, I know
this
you do.
Bama team is like Utah in a lot of respects. I love watching them. Love watching them play. They're more complementary than they've been in the past. They're less reliant on one element of their team like they have been over the last couple of years. Last year, if Bryce Young didn't play well, man, it wasn't happening. And he drug them to a couple of wins and even to a place where they almost won a couple of those games that they probably shouldn't. Defense didn't play well against Tennessee. Obviously the LSU game, like they're not in it without him. This team is very different. They're much more complementary, and I love watching them play. They're physical. And this is a part and parcel to something that I think is pretty well. I think it's going on all over the country. Think about the teams that are winning big games. Think about the teams that we really like right now. Michigan is one of them. Utah wins a big game. Ohio State wins 2 top 10 games in a similar fashion, kind of a slugfest. The game is reverting back to toughness, physicality at the offensive line position, at the line of scrimmage. Can you run it? Can you control the game? And I really love that. And in that respect, Alabama does those things really well.
All right, so C. Klatt, as we were telling you all show, Oregon at Utah, 2:30 on Fox, where Oregon is a 6.5-point road favorite.
By the way, Taylor, our social media department will not put that watered-down apology in the clip that's going to go out from this interview.
Apology. Yes. You're still wrong. It's just very typical Bama fan. You play well for 18 minutes of a football game. You're like, we're the best team in the world.
The point was,
we can beat the Patriots.
We do get history books here, so yes.
Point was, if that 18 minutes represented 60 minutes, but we'll leave it at that. Klatt, thank
you.
It
was good.
Yes.
You far outweigh what you think, what anyone thinks Tennessee is. Like, Tennessee's not anywhere close to Penn State. Penn State would beat the doors off of Tennessee. Tennessee is somewhat of a soft team that relies on things that are unreliable.
Oh, Penn State wouldn't score. They wouldn't score 2 touchdowns on Tennessee's defense.
See, there you go. There
Klatt,
you are.
You just watched that pathetic offense.
Hey, guess what? We'll get to see it in the Outback Bowl.
this year, yeah, we might. Although, yeah,
you just watched Penn State's pathetic offense. You can't tell me what do you think they would score on Tennessee's defense?
Probably, I think they would score 24, 28.
28? You're out of your mind. You just watched them. Klatt, that's a terrible offense.
And I watched the film on them, and I watched the film on Tennessee. You far outrate what the SEC is outside of Georgia and Alabama right now. The SEC is not really that good this year.
All right.
Best player in college football?
Marvin Harrison Jr., for sure.
Best quarterback,
especially with Bauer's injury. He and Bowers are the 2 best player. Best quarterback, I still think is Caleb. He's just being put into awful situations where they refuse to run the football, and so he's asked to be Superman.
I was going to say best quarterback wearing purple and gold, but then that brings Michael Penix into it too. I'm trying to work a way to get Jaden Daniels.
He played terrible. Washington played terrible against Arizona State. Probably J.J. McCarthy. I tell you, like, Michigan, watch out for Michigan because they are incredibly deep. They're incredibly sound. They do everything well. They're disciplined. And now J.J. is taking them to that next place. He's becoming one of those players that I was mentioning where everything breaks down. He can still make them right. He's playing at a really high level. He's right now the betting favorite for the Heisman Trophy, if you can believe that.
Well. All right, again, see Joel Klatt, Oregon.
I know it's tough to beat Joe Milton, since
God.
he had to transfer away from Michigan. I mean, you guys act like I don't watch. Like, what?
I just can't believe you watched that Penn State offense Saturday and you think they'll score 28 on Tennessee.
Well, the difference is that I've watched all their games on film.
Well, I mean,
so I know what they are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've watched them play Iowa and West Virginia and, the Panera Bread, whoever all they've played. They played a terrible schedule.
Okay, please give me the case that Tennessee is so much better than than Penn State. Like which games?
Oh, I don't think
please
they are.
Give me the evidence. There's always this questioning of like, well, who did they play? Well, Iowa's one of the best defenses in America, and they seem to handle them just fine. And by the way, in rainy conditions. So like, where's the evidence? You tell me. Who has Tennessee played?
Oh, I mean,
that you just are like, oh man, I don't think
they played a tremendous schedule. I think if they play Penn State tomorrow, it would be like a 20-14 game.
No, 28-21. Penn State wins that game. They would be favored in Vegas by 6.
Who would?
Penn State.
Okay. Again, like Lance said, we'll see in the Outback Bowl.
Neither one of those teams will be in the Outback Bowl. Penn State will be in their New Year's Six Bowl.
It's a joke. Klatt, thank you very much for the time. It's always fun talking to you.
Hey, look at you stirring the pot. Say outlandish things like Tennessee is great. Ugh, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Great,
guys,
Klatt.
I love you. This is easily one of my favorite things to do. Colin, I just have to go on and correct him. This felt a little bit like that. So
yeah, okay.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you. I feel like that. Be good, Klatt. We'll see you Saturday.
Later, boys.
On Oregon at Utah. Klatt with us, courtesy of MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round.
And a couple of our great sponsors. Our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa can get you ready for a weekend as well. LT.
Yeah, so holidays are right around the corner. If you want to order that special person gift online, you can do it 24/7 at birmingham.woodhousespas.com. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Taste Spa, voted America's best taste spa since 2009. Stop in, see Stuart and Casey. Tell them the Next Round sent you.
And also by our friends at Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila, made with 100% pure agave, the exceptional tequila that is aged in European oak barrels from the Balkan region of Eastern Europe. This process gives you a robust agave flavor and a crystal clear tequila. It is fantastic. Ask for it by name, Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila, Maestro Dobel Diamante. When we come back, we will talk more college football and do our spotlight today, which is big storylines moving forward right here on TNR.
The NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah and Ryan Brown. DJ Football Weekly at Disrupt the Media on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations, but we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live daily show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
You could win a Dodge Challenger RT or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You could be a winner too. Come win your share during the Challenger RT and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings October 27th and 28th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA. Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
All right, part of the show today being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of those is JohnstonRVCenter.com, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, always online at JohnstonRVCenter.com. As Jim said, they've just returned from the Fall River Expo, which is where you go if you're an RV dealer of their stature and you see all the new floor plans. They show you everything and they say, this is what we want for our customers. So that stuff's about to start being delivered. They got to make room for it, and they're going to do so with the Call of Fall campaign. Great savings. Things like fifth wheels discounted more than $50,000. Travel trailers starting just $179 a month with approved credit. Always that lifetime warranty on anything new or under 2 years of age used at Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, and always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
All right, and before we get to the spotlight, I will tell you that Arkansas fired Dan Enos yesterday. Kenny Guyton will take over the play calling the rest of the way. Arkansas put up a very Iowa-like 2 weeks of offensive football, not very good. Mississippi State beat them 7-3 in a home game that they lost, and it's another one-possession loss that is stacking up for Sam Pittman there in Fayetteville.
Awful football game. I had that on one of my TVs in the early window. Just an awful game to watch. Their offense is terrible. Look, I'm not going to call KJ Jefferson a generational quarterback, but he's one of the better quarterbacks Arkansas's had in quite a while, and it feels like they've just completely wasted him.
Sam Pittman is, and this is from Karen, I appreciate her sending this to me. Sam Pittman is 21-23. If he had won all of his one-score games, he would be 35-9 as a head coach.
Wow.
That's how many one-score games he's been in. So close doesn't cut it for a lot of people, but that's how many one-possession games he's been in at Arkansas. They make a change there in Dan Enos. New York Butcher Shop will bring us our spotlight today. Tell us about New York Butcher Shop. That's where we pay off a lot of steak bets.
Yeah, great place to stop in, pick up dinner for you and the family. Stop by, pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks, burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you. Chef-prepared entrees, side dishes, perfect dinner-to-go choice for you and your family with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Cabo Heights, Highway 119. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The College Football Spotlight. College football's biggest storylines.
I'll start it off. I think my biggest storyline moving forward is Ohio State and Michigan. If Ohio State's able to get to that game against Michigan, and I believe Michigan will beat Penn State, if both of those teams are unbeaten, are both of them guaranteed, assuming the winner goes on and wins the Big Ten championship, are both of them guaranteed a playoff spot?
Well, you got to tell me, is Georgia, Florida State, and somebody in the Pac-12 undefeated? I guess it would just be Washington at this point.
It would just be Washington at this point. And I think you can make a case, even if it's not. I think unbeaten will always rule, but I think you'd make a case at that point, Ohio State and Michigan maybe would be considered better than an unbeaten Washington with what they put on tape this week against Arizona State.
I still think Washington gets in because I think we're giving the Pac-12 a lot of credit this year, and I think they do deserve more credit than they get in the past. They're, in my opinion, as good as Michigan and Ohio State could play down the stretch, and it could be a triple overtime thriller. And the loser of that game, if you've got the Pac-12 in their last year as a conference, an undefeated Pac-12 champion in Washington, find it hard to believe they would get the door shut on them.
I think we're trending towards, a possibility of having 2 Big Ten teams in that discussion again. And I think what a lot of people in the chat room would say on Michigan is, who have they played? But when you watch them play these bad teams, they beat the crap out of them the way good teams should beat them. I mean, it's just never close.
They do. Who do they play? Penn State and Ohio State. That's who they play, but you got to wait to see it until later next month.
You feel like Washington can survive that gauntlet unbeaten?
No. I think they'll lose in the Coliseum to USC. I think USC is going to lose another game or 2, but I think that's a perfect setup for Washington.
Do you think Florida State can survive?
I
do
don't.
not.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't. I think you're going to have one unbeaten.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, hypothetically, if it plays out the other ways, I see what you're saying.
And
I think there's a really good chance that we do get Michigan and Ohio State in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not sure Georgia can survive it unbeaten.
I don't think so. I think Georgia is going to lose. I think a Big 12 team is going to lose, and I think either Ohio State or Michigan is your undefeated team, your singular undefeated team.
But I watched Ohio State again, and if they played, anybody in the SEC schedule, I don't know if they would be unbeaten right now.
Well, Klatt just told me it better be Alabama or Georgia because Penn State would beat all of them, which I disagree with.
I think Ohio State would be undefeated if they played Georgia's schedule.
To this point?
Yeah.
I would agree.
To this point?
Yeah.
Down the stretch
Down the
here?
stretch, I don't know. If they played Alabama's schedule,
if Ohio State played Florida this weekend, Ohio State wins the game. Missouri, Ole Miss, at Tennessee. Yeah, I think Ohio State's undefeated.
Okay.
But I think Georgia, and they might have that one loss just based on, the do factor percentages, whatever.
My storyline is Texas and their quarterback situation. We mentioned it. Quinn Ewers out. Malik Murphy basically plays a quarter of football in a tight football game, by the way. and they only let him throw twice, and very, very easy stuff. How much do they trust him moving forward against those games that they've got to play primarily against Kansas State, who's playing better football?
And does Arch Manning get snaps?
Yeah, I mean,
does he get worked in at QB2?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a great question. The punter threw one, or the kicker. The punter threw one, so Arch didn't get any playing time. The punter even got a pass out of it.
So in 7 years as a head coach, Lincoln Riley has lost 3 games one time. It was last year, 11-3. They've already lost 2 games. There are more losses coming up, and I think it's going to be interesting. A couple of things: Caleb Williams, if and when he shuts it down, and Lincoln Riley. Is this really the last year in the Coliseum? I wouldn't be completely shocked if he went to the NFL, depending on the job, but they have got really, really difficult games. After Cal this week, they've got Washington, at Oregon, and UCLA.
Absolutely. Those are our storylines. We're past the 11 o'clock top of the hour, but the 11 o'clock hour always brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Open for lunch right now. Just open the doors there. Sterling and his crew can dial it up for you. Southern Fried Chicken, Mississippi Delta tamales, hand-cut chicken fingers. Go by there and have a great lunch right there. When we come back, full hour leading into the Hugh Freeze news conference in overtime. This is the next round.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you: Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. As summer starts to fade, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and let's show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your party. Take charge today.
It's college football time in Alabama. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. I grew up an Alabama fan, Roll Tide, but my wife, Caroline, grew up an Auburn fan, War Eagle. But no matter who you pull for, whether it's the Lions of the University of North Alabama or the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State or any other school in between, I want to wish all the players, the coaches, and especially the fans another great college football season here in Alabama. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap. Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show today, but we got overtime. No Nick Saban news conference for Alabama. Got to that bye week with the win over Tennessee. More on that game in a second. Well, you will hear from Hugh Freeze as Auburn gets ready to play Mississippi State this weekend. That's a 2:30 SEC Network game. 2:30 SEC Network, Mississippi State and Auburn back at Jordan-Hare Stadium coming up this weekend. So we'll hear from Coach Freeze coming up at 12 noon or just shortly thereafter in overtime today. This hour of the show being brought to you in part by our great friends at Hemp Hill.
Hemp Hill Services right now offering a $69 fall tune-up. When you mention the next round, call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train. Birmingham, the name they've trusted since 1954 for plumbing, heating, and cooling. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
And I will say, stick with us in overtime. That's normally when the next week's kick times are announced. It is speculated Alabama-LSU will obviously be the primetime game. It'd be crazy not to. But those times have not been released, but they normally are during overtime. So we'll get those to you as quick as possible.
We'll pass those along to you there as well, Brownie. Thank you very much. Let's get back to the Alabama discussion going on because, you went deep with Joel Klatt there talking about that in the win over Tennessee and just how good Tennessee is. Where are you guys on Alabama as we sit here today after that second half? Is that something – I think the question became – do you think that second half Alabama team was a light switch moment that it clicked and maybe they're able to continue that into this LSU game and maybe play 60 minutes? Because we have not seen a 60-minute game from this team today. We have not seen it.
Yeah, look, in Alabama to be able to outscore Tennessee 27-0 in the second half, that shows you that they can build – big drives, put together a lot of points in one half. But if you get off to a slow start against Jaden Daniels and LSU and you're down, they were down 20-7 to Tennessee. LSU's not one of those that's going to settle for field goals. And when they go for it, they're going to pick up a lot of fourth downs if they're in that situation. So if you get down 28-7 to LSU, you got problems.
This same thing happened against Ole Miss, and it didn't prove to be the flip switch moment for Alabama. That Tennessee game played out almost exactly like the Ole Miss game did, where it was lower scoring 7-3.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought Alabama reached that level in the second half. They reached it felt like –
well, they were a different team.
That was the best half of football I've seen Alabama play this year.
Against Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I'm just saying, slow start against Ole Miss, different team second half. Didn't really change anything for Alabama. So I don't know. My only point is I think if you got that Alabama team for 60 minutes, I just really don't know who beats them. The way that defense played Saturday and an offense that is not dynamic, it's not incredible, but it scores points. You hit the deep ball to Bond 2 plays into the second half on a coverage bust by Tennessee. A coverage bust your quarterback sees immediately, right? He knows it's happened. He knows he's got his guy for a touchdown, hits him in stride for the touchdown.
Yeah, he never overthrows that, too. That's so good.
His deep ball is pretty good.
Michael says, I feel like we had someone else calling plays during the second half. Tommy Reese did call a really good second half game or a really good game. One thing they did in this game, a lot more of, and I think it was a new wrinkle, but maybe they've done it in places, but not to the degree, but the jet sweep and the jet sweep motion coming in front of Milroe, a couple of early first half big plays off of that, giving it to him, which goes down as a pass, even though really it's all a run at that point. But they motioned that after hitting it one big time a lot, and it was moving around that Tennessee defense every time they did that. I was asking Luke's about this morning, Monday Morning Live, and you can go back and hear his response. But that's something he would like to see more of out of this offense as they move forward.
One thing to praise Tommy Reese, and Tommy Reese actually getting a little bit of praise in the chat room today, which is unusual for Tommy Reese. To praise him a little bit, here's what I'll say for Alabama. They did not run the ball effectively, but they never went away from the run. And I think that's really important in a game like that against Tennessee when you only rushed for 138 yards, but you rushed 42 times. You never, even when it wasn't working, never ever went away from the rush. And I thought Jace McClellan had a nice game, but you far from dominated that game on the ground.
No.
But you stuck with the run.
27 carries they let him carry the ball.
And I think they should have. He was obviously the best back Saturday. And I thought he made some exceptionally good runs for Alabama, especially, the touchdown run.
But you do the math to get to 115, 27 runs to get to 115 is not a lot of gash runs.
It is not. 4 points. His long run was 29, to your point.
So one of those was 29. So take 29 away from 115, and then 26 others to get to that number. That's not a lot of yardage.
Look, I don't think this is a great team. I think they have the ability to play great, like you said, in the second half. When you start to look at the schedule, the 2 games, LSU obviously scares everyone. Do games in Lexington and Auburn scare you?
Oh, absolutely. And I said this a long time ago, and I'm not shying away from it after the second half. There's not a game on the schedule other than Chattanooga that I don't think they can lose or win. Either way, they can win them or lose them.
I don't disagree.
And at halftime, thought the game was over with. Thought Tennessee was going to run them out of the stadium. And then Nick Saban at the half. Can you somebody try to duplicate the speech? I heard it was short. A friend of mine who's got contacts inside the locker room told me that Saban did not say a whole lot. He just gathered the team. We've seen it coaching the Crimson and White game, the 8A game. We calls them up before they go back in the second half. He calls them up right there in the middle, and all he says is, they're not going to smoke on our field. They're not going to disrespect us. They're not going to smoke on our field. And that's all he said. When he said it the second time, they're not going to smoke on our field, that the rest of the players started saying, they're not going to smoke on our field. And then it started echoing around the room, and it became almost a chant, they're not going to smoke on our field. And that's all he said, and they walked out and played the second half.
T-shirt?
They're not going to smoke on our field.
They're not going to smoke on our field.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good T-shirt. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and that's it meant a lot. It meant a lot to Nick Saban afterwards. And everyone says he's done the run around and thank the fans before.
And I didn't say he'd never done it. I just said it's uncommon for him to do it.
I don't remember him doing it.
Yeah. And the other thing I'll say about Milroe, too, again, he has quit turning the football over. That interception was not on him. That, I thought, was a good pass. You know, it hit Burton in the shoulder and bounced to a defender. He's throwing basically a jump ball to Burton with the defender with his back to him. That's a good pass. You know, you don't account for what happened there where, you know, Burton's arm, you know, didn't get his arms up. The ball hits the shoulder pad and bounces to a defender. I'm not going to pin that on Jalen Milroe. It's just that happens in the course of a game. That's not an awful pass. So he has cut down turning the football over, and you can't overstate how massive that is for Alabama moving forward.
Brody says he wants the T-shirt to be, I'll chew on one for a while. Talking about, that was Nick Saban to Jenny Dell with the cigar. So it's not bad there. Not bad there. All right, let's do our 4 downs today. It is brought to you by our friends at Slice. LT has them for us. Tell us about Slice LT and then roll through them for us.
Yeah, the late Jeff Bajaya created this incredible concept. His brothers, Jason and Chris, they continue the legacy. 4 great locations, the original in Lakeview, one in Vestavia, one Montevallo, and now Crestline Park. For more information and to get that carry-out special 7 days a week, go to slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
More concerning struggles right now. Oklahoma or Washington coming out of the weekend?
I think I'll go. See, I think they were both a product of a hangover from a big game, honestly, Lance. The Red River hangover, I know there was a bye week in between. It's a real thing. I think it got Texas and Oklahoma both. And I really do just believe that Washington performance was the byproduct of a hangover from a massive game. I really don't pull the alarm on either one of those two teams right now.
For me, UCF is a better team than Arizona State.
Oh, yeah.
Arizona State's a depleted
They're
team.
terrible.
Kenny Dillingham is coaching his butt off to just make them a competitive every now and then. The job he's doing is sort of like the job Hugh Freeze is doing, just trying to every now and then, you know, show a little respect for the logo and the brand. So good for Kenny Dillingham to do that a couple of times this year. It's Washington, but because of what you brought up earlier, LT, they've had one possession games after one possession games after one possession games. That can get you at some point, especially as competitive as the Pac-12 is this year. I'm more concerned about Washington.
Second down.
In fact, just to add on that a little bit, Quinn Ewers' injury helps Oklahoma a little bit. If he's not 100% by the time they get to the Big 12 championship game, whoo.
So what team outside of the top 10 right now has the best chance at getting to a college football playoff? So starting at Oregon State and work your way down. I still think it's LSU with 2 losses.
Well, I think Oregon State loses this weekend. More on that maybe tomorrow. Ole Miss.
I believe you tipped your hand.
Ole Miss has a loss to Alabama, but has the win over LSU. I actually believe it is Utah with a pig farmer at quarterback.
I just don't think they can continue to win these games. I think they lose this week to Oregon, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, Oregon is a road favorite, a 6.5-point favorite in Salt Lake City. Tough place to play.
Yeah, as you would expect it to be. Getting 6.5 with Utah at home?
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear the excitement of that?
Just changed my upset alert.
Yeah, Utah's catching 6.5 in that game in Salt Lake.
God, can I draw an interlocking UU? Of course I can.
Of course you can. It's one of the easiest logos you can draw.
I think LSU, it comes down to a one-game situation against Bama. I think if they win that game, I think LSU has a great chance of beating Georgia. I really do.
Yeah, but then they're a 2-loss team. What keeps you from thinking that for the first time in the history of the 14 playoff in the last year, they're going to put in a 2-loss team over what could be a boatload of 1-loss teams?
Look, there's still a lot of work to do. I just think the best team outside of the top 10, if Utah was whole, well, they wouldn't be outside of the top 10.
Let me give you a wild one. Missouri.
If they win all their games, they're there.
Good luck, though. You've seen their schedule, right?
Oh, I do, yeah. I'm just saying, but if they win those games and win an SEC championship, their only loss, how about this, would be the meltdown, the game they should have won against LSU. Or they'd be unbeaten right now.
Yeah.
Crazy. Let's do third down.
Third down.
Weird Al Yankovic, 64 years old today. Ryan Reynolds, 47. Better career. It seems easy on the surface, and most people would say Ryan Reynolds.
It does, but Weird Al has stood the test of time. And I've actually heard, Rockstar, that's a good concert, the Weird Al Yankovic concert.
I still push for him to do Super Bowl halftime. I think it'd be entertaining.
So he's still alive?
Yeah, he just finished a massive tour.
Yeah, he actually had a birthday, unlike Susan Summers last Monday.
Last Monday, yeah. I was not going to do 4 downs even if you asked me this Monday because I had no chance to check my newsletters. I didn't know who died this weekend. Weird Al has some great moments. Ryan Reynolds has been in what?
Damn, Weird Al's about Grindr. You know what his net worth is?
What?
$20 million.
That's pretty good, though,
Worked hard for it.
It's pretty good, but again, the guy's been performing, 50 years, 5 decades?
Since the 80s, early 80s.
Parody songs, though. He just has to let somebody else write them, and then he goes and reworks. Basically, he does a career of Rockstar's Playhouses. That's what he does.
Ryan Reynolds, $350 million.
Yeah. Is Amish Paradise thought to be Weird Al's best one?
Oh, you had Eat It.
Eat It was my favorite.
Fat.
Yeah, but Amish Paradise was so good.
It was good.
The video was good.
Yeah, but I like Eat It.
Was pissed off because he didn't ask for his permission.
Yeah.
Eat It.
What is the other one?
A surgeon cut for the very first time.
Spam in your lunchbox at work.
Yeah. It's all about the Pentiums.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of good moments. I'd go Ryan Reynolds, though.
I'd go Weird Al.
Fourth down.
Again, Birmingham Airport. Weird Al walks through it. Ryan Reynolds walks through it. This is easy.
Johnny Carson would have been 98. I would have thought he would have hit the hundreds by now, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Massive smoker.
Would have been 98 today. Pele would have been 83. Better career, Pele or Johnny Carson?
Johnny Carson considered to be the all-time greatest at late night, but Pele at the time was the greatest soccer player on the planet in the sport that's played over most of the planet. I'd go Pele.
I would go Pele too. I think Pele's won multiple World Cups, right, with Brazil?
Maybe 2.
I think it was 2.
Maybe 2.
But you could argue that Johnny Carson was the most prominent person on television for a very long time.
He was. He tucked America to sleep every night into bed.
Good night, everybody.
All right, that is 4 Downs, brought to you today by our great friends at Slice. We appreciate them so much. Show also being brought to you by our friends at Redmont Vodka, Redmont Distilling. Had a chance to hang out with those folks last week. So proud of their growth. They continue to grow and spread around. Tell us about Redmont.
Yeah, local product, locally owned and operated. It's gluten-free. It's 8 times distilled. You can get it at your local package store, including the Beverage Place Pink Package. Also, ABC stores available in 22 states. Ask for it by name. It is Redmont Vodka.
All the SEC with our all-SEC analyst, Roman Harper. Thursdays at 9:25.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone. Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails. And don't forget about that 29-degree man-sized drafts. It's Twin Peaks at the Patton Creek Shopping Centers.
Before we get to trash, let's talk a little betting odds. Some of the lines that are out there with our friends at MyBookie. Tell us about mybookie.ag, Brownie.
You can use code NEXTROUND right now when you sign on at mybookie.ag and get that sign-on bonus of 110%, which is absolutely free money. And you can play it right away, win with it once. It is yours and yours forever at mybookie.ag. All you got to do is use code NEXTROUND. You play Monday Night Football tonight. The Major League Baseball with a couple of games. Get ready for some of these college lines Dunaway is about to tell you about. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Very important, though, when you sign on to use code NEXTROUND, you're going to miss out on that bonus. 110% sign-on bonus with code NEXTROUND at mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Who are you looking at, Jim?
How about, just call me crazy. I know they just lost a pretty bad loss to Missouri there, but I'm getting 14 points for South Carolina on the road in College Station.
Didn't we say that this past week? We're getting 7.5 from South Carolina
I think
on the road against Missouri.
Somebody said we don't need them.
Yeah, but now
guess what? Needed every one of them.
Now we've doubled it up. Oklahoma's giving 10 to Kansas. Is Kansas quarterback playing or not playing?
It's the big unknown. You know, Leipold said before, so they had a bye this past week, but go back to the game in Stillwater before that game, and he came out. He wasn't dressed. They really don't know what the long-term situation is for Jalen Daniels. If he plays in that game, Kansas, Jason Bean's got a lot of experience, but Jalen Daniels is an elite quarterback.
Oh, if he can play, look out. Rockstar, give me cut number 5 here because Clemson is minus 10 on the road in Raleigh against a not great NC State team. What are they, 4-3 on the year?
Yep.
Tough place to play.
So is Clemson, by the way.
Yeah, and Clemson loses in overtime to Miami, where Cade Klubnik apparently went off script, went rogue. The play call was not what he ended up running that cost them the touchdown in overtime, and Dabo Swinney did not pull any punches.
Just to be clear, that was an RPO on the last play?
No, it was a handoff. 100%. And we didn't hand it off. Just pulled it. I got no answer. Just trying to do too much. And so no RPO. It's a give. And we just didn't do it. I made a lot of plays, but again, we just gotta play within the system.
Play within the system.
Wow. Going gets tough, and the rich coach throws his quarterback under the bus.
What do you think? Was that throwing him under the bus?
Oh, yeah. That's he threw him under, and then he backed it up and ran him over again.
But as we said in the postgame show Saturday, if you go back and watch the play, I was watching live when it happened. If you weren't watching live, go back and watch it. Shipley doesn't fight to take the football. Like, I don't know if he's saying Klubnik changed the play or if Klubnik just pulled it and ran on a play where he wasn't supposed to pull it and run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you're Dabo, do you not say, hey, look, there was obviously some miscommunication. We're going to dive into that. This is immediately after the game.
Yeah. Anytime there's miscommunication, it's coaching. We got to coach them up better, something like that. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. That's on me. I called the play. Whatever, yes. It felt like very much he's throwing his quarterback under the bus. But
I bring it up.
Again, I'll say Shipley ain't exactly fighting to keep the football. I mean, it feels like he thinks it's a mesh that if the quarterback's pulling it, let go.
It's like the movies we watch. What was the one where I don't want your life?
Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues. They get in the huddle. He's calling the off tackle right. We're not going to do that, boys. We're going to do this. What's the one? I don't know if he went.
These Riley brothers are overrated. We're going to go out on our own.
Texas.
It was a bad weekend for them.
Texas minus 17.5 at home to BYU. BYU is not the normal team that we expect.
So we had BYU this past weekend. BYU was playing hard, and they popped Texas Tech. If Malik Murphy, and everybody believes he's going to be the next Vince Young, but if he goes out, shits a bed in his first start, and BYU plays like they did this Saturday, it can get interesting.
And you got Arch Manning in there. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I wonder if we're going to see Arch this year.
I don't know. I'm just saying, if Malik Murphy goes out there and struggles. You at some point you got to say, do I go to Arch Manning if I'm Sark?
Georgia 15.5 in that game. Last one, Georgia 15.5.
That feels high. Without Rob Bowers.
Feels a little high, which means Georgia probably walks him off the field.
Yeah. And Florida's playing better. You've said it yourself.
Yeah, that game, that cocktail party just never lives up to anything for me. Never lives up to anything for me. All right, that was our mybookie.ag. Don't forget to take advantage of that 110% deposit bonus right there. Use the promo code NEXTROUND, mybookie.ag. It is time for trash. Rockstar, do you know where the big button is still?
Wrong one.
Wrong one.
That's the trivia button.
These are the people that are banned from my funeral. Don't let Bertha in. She tried to hook up with my husband. You all know Billy. He's the worst ex I ever had. And I know he's going to try to go to my funeral. His sister can't come either.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage
kind of
Right.
lady.
Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right, advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. Visit their locations, Highway 280 in Birmingham, Parkway Drive in Leeds. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. We start first in Muncie, Indiana, where Ball State is?
Yeah, Muncie.
Muncie, Indiana.
Beautiful Muncie, Indiana lands.
Have you been to Muncie?
Never.
Police claim a Muncie woman didn't know what the big deal was about stealing a Kia from our car dealership in order to allow her to drive to Indianapolis for a job interview to be an exotic dancer. We used to play How Many Things Are Wrong with This Sentence. That would have been a mouthful.
It would have been. Let's do it again. Read it again. Rockstar, hit the bell like you used to on the things that are wrong with the sentence if the bell's not
Okay, here we go. Police claim a Muncie woman didn't know what the big deal was about stealing a Kia from a car dealership in order to allow her to drive to Indianapolis for a job interview to be an exotic dancer. Now, according to the court documents, 20-year-old Cassia Shelton, who you see right there, quote, acted like this whole thing was a joke, did not understand what she was going to be arrested for after police tracked her down and questioned her about the stolen car. Now, police learned that the theft of the 2013 Kia Optima on Monday after an employee at the RDI Motors in Muncie called Muncie police
Oh, you gotta love Kia.
to report a car was just stolen from the lot. Shelton reportedly told police she stole the Kia in order to drive to Indy for an exotic dancer job interview. She didn't understand what the big deal was, however, since she, quote, returned the vehicle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, Shelton returned the vehicle by dropping it in the mall's parking lot located next door to RDI Motors, leaving the keys in the Kia. The stolen Kia ended up being recovered in Anderson. Now, according to the investigator who interviewed Shelton, she, quote, did not understand she was going to be arrested for this because she didn't have the vehicle any longer.
That's right.
She's what we call dumb.
I would say.
Yeah. Wow. By the way, surprising that a 2013 Kia would make it all the way from Muncie to Indianapolis for a
not
job
going
interview.
back to the dealership, just driving it by the mall.
That's right. Yeah, I dropped it off next door. I like the fact, too, that, hey, guys, we need a picture of this person that stole.
Yeah, we don't need her forehead or her hair.
So let's find one that's extreme close-up if you can. And very blurry.
Police in Metro Atlanta said their nightmare is over after a SWAT team went in, arrested 4 people they claim were nuisance neighbors. Channel 2's Tom Jones went out to the city of South Fulton on Monday.
It's not unusual to find squatters in the neighborhood.
Where police said they found 2 stolen cars, a stolen gun, stolen IDs, and credit cards inside of a home. Neighbors told Channel 2 Action News people who lived in the home kept them up all hours of the night with parties and other non-neighborly activities. They went on to say one neighbor, quote, a lot of partying. They had an illegal strip club set up on weekends.
Oh, wow. Illegal.
Now, people who live in the community.
I've got somebody who wants a job interview. She's in a 2013 Kia.
They said they've lost plenty of sleep the last 4 months because of the nightmare neighbors at that home. Neighbors told Channel 2 Action News there were piles of trash at the home and people at the home raced in the streets. They also said the air often reeked of marijuana and there was sporadic gunfire and even they spotted horses outside of the home.
Interesting.
Tom, would you go over and tell the neighbors to be quiet again? Yeah, honey, hold on. Why are you getting your wallet? Because they've got a strip club.
Yeah, these 4 give no shits.
What makes a strip club illegal?
The fact that it's in a residential home.
Yeah.
So if I have a home and I have a girl stripping all day and I get you paid for it, I think that's a little problem.
Yeah, it would be like if I actually had a cash bar in my house.
But do I have to have a license to have a strip club, or is it just?
I'm sure
yes.
it's a business
You
license.
do?
Yeah, you
well,
do.
business license, yes, but not like a strip club
No, you
license.
do. There
Yeah,
are laws on in each city that, like some cities you have to have pasties over your nipples,
okay.
and so you have to sign
You have
up
to
and
meet
get
certain criteria.
I think if you don't sign up, you just go full nude.
Yeah,
That's it.
Like, we're not going to ask for permission.
Like if we had a pole out in our lobby and just had one working up here in the lobby right now,
would that be illegal?
It would slow down the people getting on the elevator for sure, but it would be illegal.
Yeah.
Boy, this is a lot.
What would we name it?
Oh. Come back to that.
Yeah. More rounds?
So yesterday, I was getting up to take Chili and Bullet to the park. First of all, Bullet on Saturday.
How many of our dancers would be named Chili or Bullet?
I don't know if we want a Bullet in there, do we? But Bullet gets up and shits on my new rug.
Okay.
And it's basically, it's ruined. Had to roll it up, put it outside.
So we're calling David Enzo a wife.
And then yesterday, I have got Chili and Bullet in the car, and I'm cleaning up crap outside, in the little bags, throwing it away. And when I get back in the car, Chili has gone on and eaten a whole thing of Mentos gum. And
wait, so Chili pooped on the carpet?
No,
Bullet
pooped on the carpet.
So it's 1-1.
And then Chili ate the gum, and so I called Rab the vet, and Rab the vet said there is, I forgot exactly what it is. There's a poison in some of these gums. Let's see what the poison is. Tell me this isn't a racket. He said you need to call the Animal Poison Control. So when I call them, they're
I
like,
bet that phone doesn't ring often.
push 1 if you want to move forward with, instructions, directions, a consultation. It's going to be $95 though. So your pet's poisoned, and you've got a choice to pay $95 or not. So I pay the $95. They give me a case number. I ultimately go to the emergency vet.
Yep, pet's poisoned.
How many courses does Brown listen on the holding music while he's waiting?
Rang twice. Nobody's answering.
While he's waiting on $95 decision. Wow, I didn't know this song was
I swear
this long.
they're in cahoots with the emergency pet vet, though. Then I go to the emergency pet vet. Vet comes back, asks what she ate. And I told her, I said, the gum. And I said, yes, it's got that toxin in it. She goes, well, you're going to need to call the poison control because they're going to need to give us a case number and tell us what to do. And I said, wait, whoa. I'm telling you what's in it. You're the emergency vet. How do you not know what to do? So anyway, end of the day, I spent $500 yesterday.
Yeah.
And she's completely fine. Completely fine.
So let me ask you.
And good breath.
I can't know. I don't know the number that I've spent on these 2 dogs.
I guess what I was going to ask you, love level, enjoyment level on one scale, pain in the ass on the other scale, nuisance on the other scale. Do those ever balance up or go good for you?
No, so I think Bullet is still a feral dog. He deserves a chance. He was in the wilderness for how long? He doesn't know about going to the bathroom in and out. I've got to work more myself on that. I think he's a miracle
training
dog.
him, not you.
Yeah.
You know to go inside or outside. Okay.
Chili is a terror. Chili, but she's already been. I'm her third rehome. Who's going to take her a fourth time?
Yeah.
So I got to try to be patient with these dogs. It's killing me though.
So if you don't, your fear is that they get put down.
Well, I don't know about that. I think they might get put out in the wilderness again.
Can you not? Can you do the boot camp again, or is that like a one-time deal?
No, I could do it again.
Yeah, it's just more money you're spending.
It's a lot.
I mean, you're out.
Anyway,
of
the reason
rod.
I bring up Bullet and Chili is there's a pregnant Great Dane out there. Now, I would
That
assume.
you want?
No, hell no.
Oh, I was about to say, not 3 dogs.
The bigger the dog, Rocky, the smaller the litter. I think that's kind of the way it is, right?
Yeah, but this is just truly amazing to me. Like,
Oh,
how
my
saucy she
word.
is.
Yeah, this Greyhound Great Dane had 15 pups.
Boy, I had to feel good though to get that out of you.
What?
What?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to feel like. I mean, you
Putting
gotta,
those pants up. Well, that job's done.
thank God. That is out of
Hey,
it.
and she's sleeping good, isn't
Yeah,
she?
boy. I mean, I would too.
What you don't know is that dog's named DJ Khaled. And another one. And another one.
Hey, but by the way, that rear teat is going to get worn out.
Well,
I mean,
look, they all can't eat this one on
I
the
know.
far outside.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be constant. I mean, that dog better learn to just lay there because it is going. There's something going to constantly be pulling at that teat.
So this is a dumb story, but you've got this rich dude out there in Palm Beach, Florida. His name's Ken Griffin. He's a billionaire hedge fund manager.
Wait, are we off the dogs?
Well, yeah, it's 15 dogs. That was the story.
Okay.
So Ken Griffin, though, billionaire hedge fund manager. Now, he's already a prominent figure in the seaside town and Florida native. He is turning heads with his ambitious plans to create the most expensive home, not just in America, but on the planet. Now, he is a guy that founded the Chicago-based Citadel, now Miami, has made headlines by acquiring more than 20 acres of prime Palm Beach real estate. What's even more astounding is the 55-year-old has obliterated the existing homes on this property with intentions to spend $150 to $400 million on constructing a mega estate that's going to be worth an estimated $1 billion upon completion.
I mean, listen, we live in a free country, and I'm a capitalist at heart.
So this is what it's going to look like?
50,000 square feet.
I mean, you
underwhelming, though.
You should be able to spend. I'm with Dunaway. It's ugly for that.
Yeah,
kind
but
of
have
money.
you ever seen the truck that's up and it's like lifted like 6 feet and you're like,
yeah,
why the hell did you do that?
Dude's got some kind of syndrome that is causing him to do
He's
this.
trying to cover something up.
To go out and just spend $1 billion.
I mean, if that was my home, I'd be wondering, now what gate is my flight leaving? It looks like an airport.
Oh, it's a
and
terrible house.
You just got some rando like sitting in the pool.
I know. I don't like
Sir,
open.
the pool is closed today.
I don't like open floor plan like that either.
I love an open floor plan, but that's way too big.
Yeah, I don't. Too loud.
Financer also shelled out $83 million for an office space. So this guy, obviously, he's what we would call a spender.
I would say so.
How's he making money off of us?
Lunsford, I'm going to put him Lunsford.
You know this guy, Lunsford?
Well, he was a part of the GameStop thing that happened.
Oh, so he was in early on that?
His company was. So he was in Dumb Money. He was played by Nick Offerman in that.
Wait a minute. So he was on the short side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, how was that movie, by the way?
It's okay. It's not quite as good, Big Short.
See, I did not like Big Short.
And I don't know anything about this story, but I get the feeling that this guy took advantage of other people to make his money.
No.
No. So like the whole
Took
thing is
advantage of
they were
the
trying to short GameStop stock, and then one guy said, "Hey, you should go buy GameStop stock." And on Reddit, it blew up, and a ton of people bought stock, and ended up making the stock just absolutely skyrocket. So all the people that shorted it, lost a ton of money, and so then I forgot.
He didn't lose enough.
Well, no. The thing is, all the rich people are still fine, and a lot of it had to do with Robinhood shutting down. There's a million aspects to the story.
I remember all of that, but who got hurt? The little people, right?
No.
Little
nobody got hurt.
A lot of little people ended up making money. I mean, if you ended up selling at the right time, you ended up getting really, really rich. But basically,
did you do that, Lunsford? Did you make more money off of this?
Sure.
He's so smart.
But this guy owned a company who then had to pay some of the smaller companies who were getting hurt by it. So he kind of gave them a bailout. So he's so rich that he was able to give bailouts to other people.
I take back my booze then. I take back my booze.
Yeah. The rich people were the ones that got screwed over. When they didn't get screwed over, they just lost their money.
I mean, they lost money, but then they always ended up getting
supposedly
it back.
it's why Michael Jordan had to sell his share of the Charlotte Hornets.
He was part of it.
Yeah.
So I've never seen the movie Mannequin. Kim Cattrall and Andrew McCarthy?
Yep, then there was a mannequin 2 with neither one of them was in 2.
Oh, really? Some interesting
They both signed up in the line.
story here. A man who stood motionless in a shop window in Warsaw, holding a bag and hoping to pass for a mannequin, has been charged with suspected theft and burglary.
Is he on the inside or outside of the glass?
He looks on the outside.
I don't think it'd be very believable. I can't rob you if I'm outside.
Well, but he does look outside.
Now, police say the 22-year-old suspect, whom they have not named, went unnoticed by staff and shoppers as he stood frozen in the window to blend in with the mannequins. Now, he was accused of going into various departments, taking jewelry after closing time. The man is also accused of other shopping incidents. On another day, he allegedly went to a shopping center bar after closing time and, quote, ate his fill, then entered designer clothes shop to, quote, exchange his clothes for new ones. He was captured on CCTV while sliding under a tiny gap in the shop's shutters. In another incident, he is alleged to have waited until closing time to take money from several cash registers and to have attempted to steal items.
I like a store that specializes in Wrangler and Barbie clothing.
Yeah, it's Wrangler Barbie. Barbie's what you get.
Oh,
there.
is it Wrangler Barbie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
By the way, as we always say on Trash, if you would devote this much effort to an actual job, you wouldn't have to do this.
Yep. That's Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. Call today, 205-815-9200 or online, mortgageright.com/TNR.
All right, Champy's Chicken. They bring you this hour. We appreciate Sterling so much. Back to the Weird Al thing. Sterling's got he writes some parody songs, doesn't he?
Yeah. He does, but Weird Al's thing is like, I'm going to change one word to a title. Beat it? Let's take that B out. Eat it.
Eat it. Sterling doesn't duplicate anybody. He's got a unique style of brining and cooking his chicken. It's unbelievable there. The white meat, dark meat, so juicy, cooked to order. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales and hand-cut chicken fingers. It's all right there at Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. When we come back, one final thought on Alabama's big win over Tennessee and the day in the NFL to wrap up. And we'll hear from Hugh Freeze at the top of the hour. All that coming up still on the next round.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Harbin's Outdoors is an award-winning landscape company specializing in installing custom fiberglass pools, landscaping, and hardscaping. Jeremy and his team are a one-stop shop for your pool construction needs. Harbin's does it all, from the install to the final hardscapes around the pool and everything in between. It's beautiful work. You can find them on Instagram at Harbins_outdoors to see it for yourself, or call or text Jeremy directly, 205-300-0718. That's 205-300-0718. At Harbins, you and your home are the center of all that they do.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to the Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. NextRound.store. That's NextRound.store.
Going to a big football game? Walking around all day? Then you'll want comfortable shoes. This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. Score a touchdown with a new pair of ultra-comfortable running or walking shoes. Come to the New Balance Birmingham store. I'm telling you, we'll make sure you have a perfect fit and we'll treat you like the starting QB. Our job is to make sure your feet are happy. Visit the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A. Your feet will thank you.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. The Next Round golf card is back and is presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Card for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
Little NFL and college to wrap up with. Being brought to you by our friends at Harbin's Outdoors, LT.
Harbin's Outdoors, award-winning landscape company specializing in installing custom fiberglass pools, landscaping, hardscaping. Jeremy and his team do it all. One-stop shop for your pool construction's needs. They're out right now in my house, almost done with this project.
Oh, it looks so good. I was by your house yesterday, and I can just tell it's going to look fantastic.
Yeah, and I won't have to worry about chili, hopefully, eating gum in the car anymore. Call 205-300-0718. That's 205-300-0718. You can see all this great work for yourself on Instagram at Harbins_outdoors.
Michael makes a great point. How did Eli Ricks not produce for Alabama that one year? He's killing it for the Eagles now. Eagles beat your Dolphins last night, Brown. Here's your chance to talk about officiating.
Oh, it was terrible, but it's not why Miami lost the game.
Go ahead, Ryan Heupel.
No, it was terrible officiating. Dunaway, 0 penalties in Philadelphia, and a receiver had his you can't touch receivers in the NFL, had his face mask grabbed in front of a ref. I mean, it feels like the NFL wants the Kelsey brothers in the Super Bowl. So
I could see that.
I guess we're all playing for second.
Did you see? I mean, how pissed do you think Taylor Swift was when they were like, "Okay, this Brittany Mahomes chick, you've got to learn this little clap dance
with her."
Yeah,
I got to sit next to her now. I got to dance with her.
Well, they must be paying her a shit ton of money.
It was crazy. There were 12 former Alabama players in that one game.
It was.
I mean, think about that for a second. There are. What is it? 98? Is that the number of active rosters?
108, 106, 53, 53.
But I thought it was 48 on game day.
Yeah, maybe it is 48. That's 96.
96. And 12 of those are Alabama players. I mean, that's insane to think about.
It really is. And Jalen Hurts, in a leg brace, leads the Eagles with a couple of touchdowns in the win there. A.J. Brown was big in that contest. Baltimore, as LT and Lance's Lock projected, beat down Detroit 38-6. You tell me what you get out of the Buffalo Bills every weekend.
Well, the last 3 weekends, they have been what you would call in a mango days.
Yeah. Well, they're 4-3, so it's bad, good, bad, good.
Well, they were
bad,
phenomenal against Miami.
Yeah, but after
they
that,
have not played well since.
They lose, they survive the Giants, and they lose again. The last 3 weeks, they've been bad.
They have been bad.
Undrafted rookie quarterback Tyson Bagent leads Chicago over the Raiders, the Bears over the Raiders. Undrafted rookie.
Yeah, look, I'm used to seeing guys like Max Crosby in the NFL with a tat sleeve, but I've never seen a quarterback with a tat sleeve. And this is what you got now. And you wonder when Justin Fields, you've got an investment in Fields, but I mean, this kid didn't make any mistakes.
Forrester, come running in here real quick. Come on.
Oh, you want Forrester all the way in here?
Yeah, come on, Forrester. Run in here. Run in here. Just stand in front of the 3 camera over here. And LT got this one right, too. LancesLock.com. He had the Falcons in Tampa. I'm a Buccaneer fan.
Victory Monday for Forrester.
The 3 of us had a conversation yesterday.
Yeah, Victory Monday.
And I will stand by this.
Yep.
I think Desmond Ridder should have been cut this morning.
Yeah, he wants him cut. Yeah.
Look,
Scott does too.
Should have been a blowout. Should have been a blowout.
I mean, so the first fumble, it's flukish, whatever. When you have 3 fumbles inside of the red zone, it's the first time in 45 years that has happened for a quarterback. But one of the fumbles was on the goal line, recovered by Tampa. The last fumble, the game was over, and he's not even protecting the football. So he's got the football, I think it was on the outside arm going into the pylon. But he's not even covering it. He's got a big smile on his face like I just scored and we won the game. And he gets stripped out, touchback. And you almost lost that game.
I think that's the dumbest penalty in sports, but
it's a penalty.
Dumbest rule
yeah,
in
the dumbest.
sports.
You know that rule though.
But it is a rule, so you got to be careful right now. While it is still a rule that if you fumble through the end zone, the other team gets the ball in the 20, and you just can't do it in that situation at all. You still win the game, but it's not as if Desmond Ridder is a good quarterback. He's a bad quarterback that is now actively trying to cost you a divisional win
and leads the NFL in turnovers.
Yeah. I'm with Lance. I don't really get it.
He does lead the league in turnovers. I think Jalen Hurts is second.
I think he's tied with him for the lead.
He's turning it over a lot. Now, his pick six last night, he did have a strip fumble, which I guess you can pin that one on the quarterback. But that pick six last night, it's a tip ball, but still, you just can't have it in that situation.
You saw it up close and personal last night, the brotherly shove. I saw it a couple of weeks ago. We stopped it one time.
We didn't.
Yeah, but, I mean, it really isn't 6 inches. They get like 9 or 10 feet almost every time.
I tell you, though, you'll know if you watch last night, you'll see the league is really closely watching the Eagles' alignment on this. And they even called the Eagles for offsides, and it was a bad call. It was the center's hand. They thought the guard's hand was in the neutral zone. It was the center's hand. Miami was offsides on the same play, so it was offsetting penalties.
They've alerted the other teams, alerting the officials. Hey, watch this. We watch tapes. The lineman's hands are in the zone.
So you can tell the league is looking for that. I just don't know. Like, I hate the play, but also, I mean – yeah. Well, why would you make it against the rules unless somebody's getting hurt?
Because everybody else can do it.
Anybody else can do it.
They can't execute it.
You guys had a unique way to attack it. You could tell they'd schemed it up, and it didn't work. But, it wasn't easy. Y'all had a unique scheme of trying to get it. Everyone's going to keep working. They're going to figure something out.
You know what's amazing is how many 3rd and inches or 4th and inches there are in the NFL. I mean, it's nonstop.
And that's what I would say. If you hate the brotherly shove, don't let them get 4th and 1. And, Miami had their chances to make it 4th and 3. They're not going to do that on 4th and 3. They only do it on 4th and 1 or less. So, stop them. I hate the play, but I'm not going to sit here and bellyache about it. Miami should be able to stop it. Nobody else can. Until Jalen Hurts gets hurt doing it, I don't think anybody's going to quit doing it. But once you see a big quarterback, and it doesn't have to be Hurts, but they just do it more than anybody. Once you see a big quarterback get hurt doing that, boy, the rest of the league will tap the brakes on that deal in a hurry.
San Francisco, Minnesota tonight, a Monday night football, and a couple of baseball games today before we wrap up with college football. Texas and Houston, 7 o'clock on Fox, deciding Game 7 in the American League Championship Series. This afternoon, Game 6, Philadelphia trying to walk it off against Arizona with Aaron Nola playing. All 3 of those games, you've got plays at lanceslock.com if you go there, right?
Yeah, we've got a free play on the total in the American League Championship Series today, Game 7. So we've got that total up for you absolutely free right now, and we've got a side in the Monday Night Football game up right now at lanceslock.com. Jump on board. I don't know what else we can do. We had another winning Saturday.
There you go.
3-0 yesterday in the NFL.
3-0 in the NFL?
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Jump on board, lanceslock.com. We get a free play every single day.
All right. Give me one thing that we didn't talk about this college football weekend that you think we need to bring back up one more time. Or maybe we talked about it earlier in the show and we need to bring it back up one more time from college football this weekend, and then we'll get to Hugh Freeze at the top of the hour. Brown, you first.
Oh, Jim. Look, I know I've hit this hard, but I think if you can find a way to get what Alabama did in the second half consistently through the month of November, I think the sky, whether you want to say Alabama's the best team, if you agree with Klatt or agree with me, I think both of us would agree the sky is the limit for Alabama. If you can find a way to harness that. Now, I don't know that Alabama can do it. But if you can find a way to harness the way that defense played in the second half and the way that offense played in the second half for 60 minutes or close to it, there is not a team in America that you would say Alabama cannot beat on a neutral site. There have been a lot of times where I think we wanted to close the door on this Alabama season. That door is still open right now. They show signs of being a really, really good football team at times.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a one-game situation in 2 weeks. Bryant Denny, boy, we've seen this before. LSU, Alabama, massive game. Winner of that game is going to win the West. For me, it's quarterback injuries. And, one quarterback injury that I just wish we could have seen Cam Rising with Utah. And obviously we're not going to see him. They've shut him down for the rest of the season, but they're still sitting there with everything in front of them if they can close the deal. I don't think they can without him. Texas now with no Quinn Ewers. How big is this going to be for the Longhorns? Because you still got to go. Not only do you have Kansas State coming up, you got to go to TCU. TCU's not that good this year, but at times they play really good. And for whatever reason, they have been kryptonite for Texas. And then the final one, if Riley Leonard never gets hurt, what happens with Duke?
Could be unbeaten.
Yeah. And I'll give you one more, and Hugh Freeze is about to address this in overtime. It'll be interesting to see the tone with which he addresses it because he wouldn't talk about the quarterback situation much last week. You've tried it a lot of different ways. You've tried giving each one of them drives. You've tried Ashford in red zone situations. You've switched out into play. Are you to the point now where you just say, I'm going to pick one of them and go the whole game without him looking over his shoulder and just see how that works? I mean, you've tried a lot of things. None of it's working
Well, if
right
he does
now.
that, who would you pick?
I don't know. I would pick Ashford, but I don't know who he would pick. I don't know that you got a great option, Lance.
I think I would go Thorne.
I mean, he tried to sneak Gurner in. I thought that was a bad play by Hugh Freeze. You really think Ole Miss is not going to notice you sneaking the quarterback in at receiver?
Yeah.
I mean, that was, Pete Golden gets bashed a lot, but they got an army of guys in the press box. You don't think somebody's going to say, hey, by the way, third-team quarterback just came in at receiver. They're probably going to do a double pass here.
Hey, my last thought is a hell of a job Kevin Steele's doing in Tuscaloosa. I mean, for everyone who thinks you get to be a certain age, you're not a good coach or a good broadcaster or a good banker or whatever anymore, not the case. Nick Saban will turn 72 in 8 days. Kevin Steele's in his 60s easy, right?
He's got to be. He's been doing it that long, yeah. He's got to be in his 60s.
I mean, I'd guess 62 maybe.
Yeah, you're assuming T-Rob didn't call the second half?
I'm assuming he didn't. If he did, hats off to T-Rob, Kevin Steele, whomever walked up there and called. I mean, the whole year the defense has been great, but so good in the second half against Tennessee and Josh Heupel this weekend. What a flip of the script for Alabama fans and for the Crimson Tide this weekend. Off week, and then the big one against LSU. In a few seconds, we'll know if that's the prime time game on CBS, as everyone is expecting it to be. But we'll get official confirmation of that coming up in a few moments. That's our show today. Remember, like and subscribe everywhere as you're watching or listening to us now, especially if you're watching us on YouTube right now. Thumbs up for us. That helps us so much. Just right down at the bottom, just click the thumbs up button.
Very easy.
It helps us tremendously. Subscribe if you want. It's absolutely free. We appreciate it. Hang around. Don't have to change anything. We'll do overtime. You'll hear from Hugh Freeze coming up right after a brief little hiccup, we call it in the business. Until next time, God bless you. And God bless America.
We call it a hiccup.
And our friends at Roback bringing you overtime today. Roback.com, Roback.com. I got a golf shirt on from Roback today. TNR 20 gets you 20% off. TNR 20, always look for that logo right there, gets you 20% off. At some point this week, I'm ordering me some hoodies from Roback. They are fantastic casual wear there. Great golf wear. Got some Roback pants. I may wear those tomorrow. Roback.com, Roback.com. Promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order there. And as always, by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, 110% deposit bonus. Not a lot of great things you can say about Auburn after the loss to Ole Miss, other than they fought like hell in front of that home crowd. The atmosphere was great. Joe Tess on the call just raved about the atmosphere there at Auburn, no matter the record or anything. But when it comes to football, they went 3 and out 6 times. 3 and out 6 times in that game.
I mean, it is, we mentioned Ohio State in 15 possessions. Dunaway had 5 3-and-outs. Auburn had 6 3-and-outs. You can't beat mid-tier teams doing that, much less, I don't know that Ole Miss is quality. They probably are mid-tier. You do that against quality teams, you're going to get run out of the stadium. And that's exactly what Auburn did. And they had too many 3-and-outs to survive a defense that played very, very well for you most of that game. They finally broke a little bit, but you can't blame them for that. Those kick times are out.
Okay, what do we got?
You got basically Alabama-LSU is what you thought. Primetime, 6:45 Central on CBS, which is a weird kick time. I wonder why CBS is going to the 6:45 kick. They used to do that after 7 Central.
I would venture to say, it's a doubleheader. So it's
I knew that.
Missouri, Georgia into LSU, Alabama.
Yeah, but they used to go after 7. I know it's irrelevant, but
it's because the games are going a little shorter.
I guess so.
Yeah, they don't want to lose the audience.
So the first half of the doubleheader, Missouri at Georgia, as Jim said, 2:30. Second half of the doubleheader, LSU at Alabama next week, 6:45. Auburn will play Vanderbilt at 3 o'clock in Nashville there on the SEC Network. So that's your kick times. A lot of other kick times. But those are the main ones.
Texas A&M Ole Miss straight out of game day. That's been an SEC game almost every week.
Yeah, they like that spot there. This week it was Arkansas and am I right about that? I think it was Arkansas, Mississippi State straight out of game day.
And they got South Carolina and Texas A&M this week.
Yeah.
Next week, Texas A&M at Ole Miss.
I think you'll see more and more of that as they get all the SEC games, maybe even better games.
That's what I was wondering, how good of the game will be at 11 o'clock straight out of game day.
Well, I think it'll be good because I think they're trying to battle Fox, and Fox is putting their big game there. So you'll have some good SEC games coming right out of there at 11 o'clock, which SEC fan bases hate. The Big Ten fan bases embrace it.
Yeah.
SEC fan bases hate it.
11 o'clock kick, we used to think when our team was bad.
Jefferson Pilot.
Yeah, not the case moving forward into television. Speaking of moving forward, Hugh Freeze is doing a lot of good things down at Auburn right now in the recruiting department. They're trying to finish out this season with as many wins as possible, maybe bowl eligibility. You got to think the path to bowl eligibility would include a win over Mississippi State this weekend. Mississippi State 4-3 on the year, 1 win in the league. No wins in the league yet for Auburn. 3 wins on the season. Here's Hugh Freeze as we do our overtime today.
Obviously, the last 3 weeks, I think we've lost games to the number 1, 12 and 15th ranked teams in the country, and felt like we had a chance at 2 of those at home. And it's anytime you have a chance to beat a team that's highly regarded, and that you certainly you regret it, and you look at everything that, man, if we could have done this, if we could have done that. So all of those things, but I think it speaks volumes for how our kids are playing. And I tell you what, I know it speaks volumes for is our incredible fans at Jordan-Hare. I just continue to be amazed at their and it's a great home environment. And I know that they've endured disappointing years and certainly are in the growing pains with us right now also, but their energy and their support, I just can't say enough about that for them. And I think they sense what I sense, and that is that, man, we are Auburn, and we should take a back seat to no one in recruiting, and that's the approach we're taking. And while there are some certain bumps in the roads, and people make of those what they will, and that's you guys, that's us, that's fans, everybody makes of it what you will, but they're temporary, and the time is coming when people will sense what Auburn truly is, like our fans already do, and just thankful for them. So looking at the game, just the negative plays that our kids played extremely hard, proud of that. Thought our defense, outside of just a couple of explosive plays, which you're playing a team in the nation that's they've got to be one of the top teams in the nation for explosive plays. You're going to give some, but there were 2 that we really probably could have done better on, and didn't get quite communicated like we should have. One was on our coaching staff, and one was our players just didn't execute the call correctly. I wish we could have those 2 back. And then that first 3rd and 15 on the first drive, they scored a touchdown on the pass interference. I thought our kid was in a great position and did a great job on that. And outside of that, I thought our defense played really, really well offensively. Some of the negative plays that got us behind the chains were a combination of the same thing. And then, but really what haunts us is the lack of third down production. When our defense holds them to 2 of 14 or something, and I think we were 4 of 11 or something in that regard, we need desperately to convert those. And it was disappointing to see us not do that. But again, growing pains for sure, but proud of our kids, proud of our fans, and excited to be back in Jordan-Hare Saturday night.
Hey, Hugh, are you content at this point to continue that platoon at quarterback, just kind of going in and out?
Whatever I think or whatever our offensive staff convinces me is the best approach to give us a chance to win a game. I've said from day one that I think Robbie has a place, and it's his place every down. We'll see this week if it's a package that enables us to continue drives. I think we always have to look at those things right now with the current state of kind of who we are.
Hey, Hugh,
I'm not content though with anything right now offensively. So.
Just for clarity's sake, on game days, are you doing any play calling, or is it all Monty, or is it?
It's Monty is calling the plays. I obviously have input, and so I'm never one to sit here and say to place blame on coaches. It's a combination. It's all of us that I listen to the plan and evaluate it, but. It's harder for me than I thought with the verbiage and stuff to be real involved in every area. I paid a lot of attention to tight red zone. We've been pretty good in the red zone at times, but we're not getting there enough to find out if our plans are really good or not. But so it's a combination. I'll jump in from time to time, as do the O-line coaches and others, and but Monty is the play caller currently.
7 games into the season, you've said you're not happy with what the offense is. But at this point, how much do you think realistically can get better about the offense at this point?
Yeah, I'm never. I'm always an optimist. I thought we were going to be pretty good last week, and I'm going to believe that about this week also, and going to do everything within my power as soon as I get through with this meeting to get started on that and to see how better we can get this week. Certainly, because it's obvious we can get better. We should be able to get better, and that will be the goal, and that's that my focus will be on that this week.
Hugh, have you had a stretch in your career with I guess over the course of 4 or 5 games like this where you've struggled this much offensively? And what is it about this group that gives you confidence you'll be able to pull out of it?
I think you can go look at my offensive stats everywhere I've been, and the answer is no, never. And so those are the challenging times that I think, they hit you right in the face, and you ask a lot of questions, and it certainly challenges you, but I do think that's where the most growth happens for people that handle it the right way. And we've played some good football teams, and some of it's us, some of it's them, but no, I haven't experienced a stretch quite like that.
Hey, Hugh, at times the offenses look like it's 2 different things with Robbie and Peyton.
It is. It's 2 totally different things.
Are you and Phillip splitting up, calling the plays during the game, depending on the package?
I did. I was very involved in that 13 personnel package last week. Very, very much so in it. I really thought we might could shorten the game with that. It didn't work quite like anticipated. We had some really good plays out of it at times. But, it's not always the play caller either. And anytime you set up here, the last thing I ever want to do is throw our kids under the bus because they're trying hard. And I'm not going to do that. But y'all been around the game long enough to know that sometimes you might have a really good call and it just didn't get executed right. And, but you'll take play 1 of the game should have been maybe a 50-yard run. Go watch the film. And, but, we're eager and excited and Robbie's so athletic and, so I'm not at all, I'm gonna teach him from it, but it's like we said, man, this is what's going to happen. Everybody thinks, you're going to be it's going to be a zone read, or it's going to be the first play was a zone slap play where there ain't no read. You hand that sucker off, and the backer fit outside, and there's a crease right up the chute. And so I obviously didn't coach him well enough on kind of what was going on there. Then later on, we do the same thing and do the read, and he pulls it down to the 1 yard line. So there were some good things in there, but that first play, you go a -3 instead of whatever it would have been. It may not have been 50, but it was going to be a good run. We were fixing to be second short or 1st and 10 again, or touchdown. So it's a combination of things. But to answer your question, yes, I was very involved in the 13 personnel, the big package there. Thought we had a great coming out playing with that too. We threw the slip screen. We get called for pass interference on a defensive end that drops and holds our tight end, and and they were in contact. So maybe that is pass interference, but so it just seems like every time we would have something positive going like that, not every time, but sometimes it was we get a bad break, or obviously we make a bad call, or we don't execute a call correctly.
Right here in the middle, Hugh. It's year one, and we knew you were taking over a new team, a new roster. 7 games in, you talked about in the beginning how you'd have to come in and implement your coaching style and teach a lot of new things. 7 games in, are you seeing those things work out? Are you seeing this team progress and get better in year one with the things that you and your coaching staff are implementing?
Yeah, the things I've seen behind the scene that you don't have the privilege of seeing, I think, is establishing the culture. And one of those is playing hard. I think we've done that, except for maybe one game up to the standard that we expect. Creating a standard of accountability and little things, because I really believe that long-term for Auburn to be where we want it to be, that the accountability of those little things you can't slide on those. And I think that's kind of maybe when I got here is something that they felt like they could. And I see that getting better each week. And I'm a firm believer that if you think that you can be 5 minutes late to a class or to a tutoring, or if the chow hall is optional but it's really not optional, but it is to you, I'm a firm believer that that's the same things that can happen on a Saturday when you call cover 2 and I may not play cover 2 this time, but I see the growth in that. And I see the growth in our team room, and I see in recruiting what kids are sensing this place can be. And again, like I said at the beginning, this is Auburn, and it should take a back seat to no one. And so I do see the growth. Have I seen the results that you want on the field? Again, we've played a very difficult stretch of games and had a chance to win a couple of those against top teams in the nation. So that in its own way is encouraging. It's also discouraging that you had some things happen in those games that that we could do better or coach better.
Although having back here, Coach. Although having factors of 2 quarterbacks and different schematics that you could put on the field, what is the balance there of trying to build confidence and chemistry with one guy, but obviously there's a challenge there of using, I'm sure in practice, multiple.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing 2 different things, truthfully, and in the packages. Whether that's smart or not, I don't know. We got to figure that out. We obviously think it is, or have thought it is. But when they're doing 2 different things, I don't think that's an issue. I mean, they're really confident in what you do. Here's your package. Get really confident with that. It's not like we're asking one to go do the whole game plan right now because there's 2 distinctively different packages.
Coach, in the two SEC games where you lost to top teams by a single touchdown, Auburn has run the ball significantly more than they've passed it. How do you continue to lean into what you do well offensively, but build some confidence in the passing game when you need it at the end of these close games?
Yeah, I told the staff yesterday, we've got to be more balanced. Now, I firmly believe you play to your strengths, and I do think we have proved we can be somewhat successful running the football. But I do think you have to play balanced football. And so we've got to find the things that our players can do, receivers, quarterbacks, protections, and be more aggressive in calling those. And so I expect to see that change some. But I'm not sitting here at all saying to you that you won't see more runs than passes. I think we've got to, again, play to our strengths. Now, this team you're playing this week, I mean, they are really, really, really chaotic on defense, and it's really, really hard to consistently run the ball on them, and it's also really, really hard to protect. So we've got a lot of things facing us for sure.
I got a couple. First, what's the status of Wesley McGriff right now and into the future?
Yeah, he was just in my office working with me on the accountability team of making sure our kids are accountable. He's dealing with a personal issue, and I think he'll get through it just fine.
And secondly, you did mention recruiting. How was the turnout? How was the response from the recruits that were here over the weekend?
Turnout was incredible, and I think they see like people that really look at this objectively. I think they see that, man, Auburn is I don't know what our class rankings have been the last 5 years prior to our arrival or anything. I don't know what they've been, but I think they see, man, I could contribute to this, and the energy in the stadium, again, they feel that on Tiger Walk. They see that in the stands, and I thought every meeting I had prior to the game, after the game, and then all day Sunday with those that were still here, I thought went extremely well, and I think we're in on the right kids, and we just need a group in the 24 and 25 class to come join us to really get this thing kick-started.
Coach, just any update on Avery Jones?
Yeah, it's that hurt us too, by the way. And Connor played really well, and Connor's going to be one heck of a football player. But they were changing in and out of a lot of fronts based on our personnel, and some of those five-man boxes on some of those 3rd and 5s and 6 could have been really good runs, and we weren't on the same page. And Avery, was more accustomed to that, so we missed him in the second half for sure. I think he's probably, I guess the words I would say for this week, doubtful.
Just following up on a earlier play calling question, I know you mentioned at the Georgia game that you were kind of more approving everything that was being called at that point. Is that still what you're doing, or kind of what's changed between then and now if Montgomery still?
Well, I approve the game plan.
Hugh, the last 2 games, when it's come time, when you've gone up tempo passing game, Peyton has really been quite successful. Does that lead you to believe maybe you need to do that more often, other than in the fourth quarter?
Well, my whole history has been around tempo, and obviously RPO, and I think Monty's more comfortable in tempo. And it seems Peyton is a little more comfortable in his skill set with some of that. And, again, I look at our team every Monday, and I look at our staff every Monday, and I say I'm going to show them today, just like I do every Monday, the execution flaws. Not when the defense was better than us and they beat us on a play, and you know what, give them credit. They had a great call and they beat us, but the execution flaws when what we had called was correct. And I'm also going to look at them and show them, look, we let you down here on these 4 plays because they were bad calls. And as a coach, you want to have as few of those possible on a given game day. What I'm saying to you is when you evaluate everything, we're not always right on the approach. But I certainly approve the approach of maybe we need to try to keep our defense has been playing pretty good, but really, really thin at certain spots. And the fewer plays that they play, you would think we would have the better chance of being successful. And so those 2 thoughts, me going fast and me trying to protect them to the strength of our team to give us a shot in the fourth quarter, they really don't coincide if you really think about it. Was that the right approach? I don't know, but that's the thinking behind it, and certainly it's got to be reevaluated like everything else.
You talked about whether it's tempo or not tempo. How important is it to get to a point to where you don't have to sub packages to allow the defense to sub, even if you're not going fast, just to kind of make them dig?
Well, I've always believed in subbing packages now. I mean, I don't know of any team I play that doesn't go from 11 to 12 or 12 to 13. I think what you might mean by that, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but you're still running the same offense. And I think that's because they had a distinct plan. I mean, when we went the Robbie 13 package, they had a whole. Now, the good thing about it is none of their pass rushers were in the game. That was a good thing, and we tried to take a shot, and because they didn't have their pass rushers in the game, then you put, the others in. They got their dudes in there, and they had some really good pass rushers. But I do think you've got to. I think you got to be multiple in your personnels. I've always believed that, and so that won't change. It just in time we're going to get to where the offense is the offense.
Going back to Wes McGriff, what is his role on your staff right now, and do you expect him to come back?
He is he's chief of accountability and in-house recruiting right now, and it's been remarkable to see him. The conversations he's having with these kids, he's got a gift to talk straight to them, and they listen to him about accountability and doing things the right way. And I've been really impressed with it, and he's helping me immensely.
Hugh, Jarquez had a big game on Saturday night, the first one for him this year where he's kind of really broken out like that. How much better do you think this offense can get when you have Jarquez playing like that? And obviously you guys got, Damari getting closer to health, that running game kind of getting stronger.
Yeah, I hate to – this is a bad feeling to have, and I don't know that I've ever had it, but I think this offense can be a lot better. And you just wish – that we would have arrived at hopefully what we start seeing more of at the end of the season sooner, and Jarquez is a part of that, of course. And I think he was a lot more patient and letting the holes develop for him, and he ran really hard and very physical, and it's good to see it because he's such a great kid. Comes to work every day and about it the right way. You don't have to worry about him being on a list or. I mean, he comes to work, so you're always good to see, him experience that success, and we've got several like that too.
All right, Coach. Appreciate
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right, that's Hugh Freeze there in our overtime today, searching for answers on the offensive side of the football, and he sounds about the same every week, searching for answers. But he's still fighting, and he said something there that, for Alabama fans who are still with us in overtime today, he just said, I hope I wish our offense would be at the beginning of the year what it's going to be by the time you get to the end of the year. The end of the year, of course, is the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different offensive team by the time Alabama gets there, what it looks like between now and there. But there are signs every week. But you can't go 6-4, 6-3 and out. You can't throw for 45 yards until the last drive and win football games.
Yeah, I mean, there are just so many offensive questions surrounding this team right now. You know, Justin Hokanson, our buddy with On 3 Sports, and Hugh Freeze was kind of asked about this and basically confirmed it, that what Hoke was reporting is that Freeze is calling Robbie Ashford's package, Philip Montgomery is calling Peyton Thorne's package, which seems, I don't know, man. That just seems like, and maybe it's less confusing than it sounds, but it really sounds confusing. But, you know, that was that was kind of a bit of a revelation. He was then asked about Philip Montgomery calling plays, and Hugh Freeze, I don't know that he intended to do this, but he said Philip Montgomery is our play caller right now. It made it sound as if, you know, there might be a moment in the future where that's not the case.
Yeah, well, he says, I approve the game plan, and then he had a little smile at the studio audience.
I mean, that continues to be the questions. The questions about you know, who's calling plays, why quarterback packages, and Hugh Freeze just continues to talk about his love for the up-tempo offense, and they simply cannot run it right now.
All right, overtime is done. We're back with you 9 a.m. Central tomorrow. That includes a Liberty Western Kentucky game tomorrow night, 6:30 on ESPNU, getting us to week 9 of the college football schedule. Jack State plays a Wednesday game down at FIU this week. And a pretty good Georgia State-Georgia Southern game coming up on Thursday with a little Sun Belt implications. All that before we get to the other main games on Saturday. All right, thanks for being with us. Don't forget Roback.com, TNR20, the promo code Roback.com, TNR20 to get 20% off your first order there, and MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.ag. Promo code next round gets you that 110% deposit bonus for a short time, so take advantage of that with the promo code next round at mybookie.ag. And always, all your plays at lanceslock.com. We'll see you tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Central.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar.